speak unless I'm speaking to you. Didn't you understand?
I will be quiet.
No, I'm done with you. You could have been tied to him forever.
Right.
You were probably very lucky because I couldn't live with him for 2 seconds.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Ashley Williams is suing her ex-boyfriend, Robert Reynolds Jr., for money owed for a deposit on a home, a headstone for the child she miscarried, an assault, and harassment.
Order. All rise. It's case number 31 on the calendar in the matter of Williams versus Reynolds.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Judge Party has been sworn in. You may be seated.
Miss Williams, you and the defendant were involved in a relationship for a period of time, and you claim he owes you for 2 things.
Yes, ma'am.
The first thing is you lived together for a while in your home, and then Mr. Reynolds was going to buy a home.
Yes.
And under the, I think it was the VA bill,
Yes, ma'am.
he was allowed to buy a home without much of a down payment. He just had to put in earnest money, which was $1,000
Yes,
earnest
ma'am.
money. And then you both moved into the house together.
Yes,
In
ma'am.
what month and year
We closed on the house in January,
of this year?
January 2019.
We?
Shh. And so you moved in February?
Yes.
And you planned on living together?
Yes, we did.
When you closed on the house, you said, we closed on the house. Describe that process to me.
Abraham asked us for a down payment of $1,000, and we paid that, of course, prior, a good faith deposit.
What part of don't speak unless I'm speaking to you didn't you understand?
Yes, ma'am. We were required to put down money.
I know you were required to put down $1,000. You put down the $1,000. Then there was a mortgage. You lived there in February.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Where did you live prior to February? In your home?
Sullivan Road, an apartment,
It was just you living?
1-bedroom apartment.
And how long did Mr. Reynolds live with you?
He lived with me approximately 6 months before he moved into the home.
And Mr. Reynolds, is that correct that
No,
you...
ma'am, it is.
Shh.
No, ma'am. No, it's not, Judge.
Just say no.
Yes, ma'am.
How many months did you live
Approximately
with...
1 year. I'm sorry.
How many months did you live with Miss Williams in her apartment prior to moving into the house?
Approximately March to December when I closed on the home in January.
I'm going to ask you again, how many months did you live with Miss Williams prior to moving out and moving into the home?
Approximately 10 months.
And what were you doing to earn a living in that 10 months?
I'm a disabled veteran.
So you get something from the VA.
And I also work.
What kind of work do you do?
I've been a banquet server, bartender, and a houseman in Atlanta, Georgia since 1999. I worked several venues all throughout the city. I work as a temp agency. They send me off. That's why I met her on the job. I apologize,
I'm
Mr.
really
Trustee.
not interested.
Yes, ma'am. I apologize.
So you are a disabled veteran,
Yes,
in which you get a pension from the VA, and in addition, you do all kinds of other jobs all around the city. And how did you split the expenses for the 10 months that you lived with her? She paid rent in her apartment. Did you pay half the rent?
Yes, ma'am.
How much was your half of the rent?
Approximately.
Not approximately. Rent is never approximately. Rent is always an exact figure.
$100.
You paid $100
Yes,
a
ma'am.
month.
Yes, ma'am.
And how much was the total rent?
I think it's like $400, something like that. Watch. She's on the government subsidy.
All I want to know is, how much was the rent? If you don't know, say, I don't know. You're allowed to say, I don't know. You're allowed to say, I don't know what the rent was, but I gave her $100.
She was in her badge home.
$240.
Yes, ma'am.
And you gave her you just said approximately.
I apologize, Judge Judy.
Do you know how much?
She would tell me.
You don't
Listen to me. I try to get my husband to say this all the time, these 3 words. We've been together 44 years.
Yes, ma'am.
I still, you know, he can recite the DNA code, but he can't say 3 words. You know what the 3 words are?
I don't know.
That's right.
I've watched you. I've watched you all your life. I've watched
That's
you.
right.
I've watched you.
Doesn't
watched
know.
You. Yes, ma'am.
It must be something in the male DNA gene. They'll make up a number, they'll make up a figure, they'll make up a... But they can't use those 3 words. Somehow it's emasculating when you say, I don't know. How many miles is it from here to Pluto? 4,968 approximately. I Don't know is the answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's go on. How much was your rent in the apartment where you were living?
$240.
And did he give you $100 a month?
Yes.
Good. So he helped you with the rent. Great. Now, you were able to save $1,000.
Yes.
And if you paid $240 in rent, then there must have been some kind of government...
In a program that paid for my partial of my rent.
Do you work?
Yes, I'm a banquet server as well.
So you managed to save at least $1,000. You were
Yes.
able to put that down, and there was an understanding that you would be living together in
Yes.
this house. It didn't work out.
Yes,
So you
ma'am.
want the $1,000
Yes,
back.
ma'am.
Unfortunately, you don't get the $1,000 back
Oh.
because the $1,000 was put down predicated on the fact you thought you were going to live together. You didn't, in fact, live together, but there was no contract that said it was a loan.
Yes, it was a loan. I emailed him and said it was a loan. It was not a
Wait
gift.
just a second. When did you email him and say it was a loan? Before or after you left?
Before I left.
Let me see. I didn't ask you anything.
Yes, ma'am. Can I please interject something, Judge Judy?
No.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. It's so funny, though.
Here you go.
No. That's in December. I let you borrow. You sent to him. I let you borrow $1,000. That's ridiculous. You have to have a contract.
I
You
have proof, the receipts, the money on.
There's no question that you put down $1,000. The question is, was there a contract between the two of you that at some point, even if you lived together, he was going to return that money? And there was no going to return that money, Miss Williams.
All right.
I mean, I read your case, and what I'm telling you is the only thing that has to be returned is an engagement ring. But if you live together and you're planning on living together and it doesn't work out and you put in $1,000 and he paid the mortgage in February and he paid the mortgage in March, you don't get that money back. We don't have a place for that unless there is a contract, unless when you put down the $1,000, you said to him, Mr. Reynolds, this is a loan. I'm putting down the earnest money for the house, but I expect you to pay it back. And if you agree, I will give you the $1,000. And he says to you, I agree to pay you back. I will give you $100 a month or $200 a month in exchange for the $1,000. That has to be a contract. And there was no contract. You unilaterally telling him in a text message 3 months later, I let you borrow $1,000, it's not a contract.
All
Do you
right.
understand?
Yes,
Okay.
okay,
The
I
next
have.
part of your lawsuit is that, unfortunately, you became pregnant and lost the baby when you were in your 4th month. You claim that Mr. Reynolds is responsible for half the cost of a headstone because you decided to have a burial for the child that you lost, and you put up a headstone.
Yes.
And that cost you how much?
$800.
In what month did that happen?
November 2018 is when I lost the baby.
And you were still living together at the time.
Yes.
I'd like you to tell me the...
The conversation was, there was $400 that I paid.
No. That's not a conversation.
Okay.
Because not everybody memorializes a miscarriage like that with a headstone.
Yes.
In
Okay.
the 4th month. So I would like you to tell me what was the conversation that you had with Mr. Reynolds regarding his participation in paying for a headstone.
He said that he would pay for the monies that's the headstones due because he's the father.
Well, that's what you say he said. I want you to tell me the whole conversation from the beginning to end.
The beginning to end, he said...
Yeah, look at me.
Look at you. Okay. He said, I will pay for the remaining cost because he is a dad. Yes, he will.
Is that what you said?
No, ma'am. I most certainly did not.
No.
Here's the evidence for the cost and everything that I paid.
It's not a question of what you paid.
Okay.
It's a question of whether Mr. Reynolds agreed to participate in paying for the headstone. And I
Participated
asked
in making the child, so he's the father. No disrespect.
You're not disrespecting me. You're just not understanding me.
Okay.
I asked you to tell me about the conversation. You had a miscarriage. And after you had a miscarriage, you had a conversation with him. I said, not every miscarriage is memorialized with a headstone at that term in a pregnancy.
Yes, it's very...
So I want you to tell me about the conversation that you had with him. You said to him, I want the conversation. I'm going to ask you where you were when you had the conversation, what time of the day. I'm going to ask you questions like that because he said that conversation never took place.
Well, ma'am, I was there. I was at the courthouse. I asked him, I said...
You were at the courthouse?
Yes, I was at the courthouse.
What were you doing in the courthouse?
I went in there to get some paperwork.
What paperwork?
The paperwork that I needed to prove that my son was Alfonso Dawson.
Okay, so you needed to go to the courthouse to get a death certificate?
Yes,
Some sort of a death certificate? Did they give you one?
No, they didn't. I had to go back to the funeral home, yeah.
And then did you get a certificate?
Yes.
Did Mr. Reynolds go with you?
No.
Did he go with you to the courthouse?
No.
Did he go with you back to the funeral home?
Yes.
And was it at the funeral home that the headstone was ordered?
Yes, it was months later. I got a quote for the funeral. We just discussed the burial procedures at the funeral home at Fonzo Dawson.
So there was no payment at the funeral home?
Yes, we paid. I paid $400.
You paid?
Yes.
Did Mr. Reynolds pay anything?
No, ma'am.
So you paid $400 for a burial?
Yes.
And he didn't pay half?
No, ma'am.
And then you bought a stone?
Yes, the stone.
And the stone was $800?
Yes,
So he didn't pay for half the burial. What made you think he was going to pay for half the stone?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
You see the defendant
Yeah,
with...
tolling her. I see this pole that's got a cement in the bottom so it doesn't, the wind doesn't knock it over, against my car.
Okay, come up here.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Ashley Williams says ex-boyfriend Robert Reynolds Jr. owes for a deposit on a home, a headstone, an assault, and harassment. Robert is countersuing for unpaid rent.
So you paid $400 for a burial?
Yes.
And he didn't pay half?
No, ma'am.
And then you bought a stone?
Yes, the stone.
And the stone was $800?
Yes,
So he didn't pay for half the burial. What made you think he was going to pay for half the stone?
Person, I was just assuming that he would just go half with me.
Well, that's not something that you do in court, Miss
Okay.
Williams.
Yes, sorry.
Do you understand?
Okay.
So you seem like really a very, very nice lady.
Yes.
And it seems that you were a nice lady, and you were probably very lucky because I couldn't live with him for 2 seconds.
Yes, ma'am. Right.
I
Right.
couldn't live with him for 2 seconds.
Right.
So a tragedy was averted.
Yes.
You could have been tied to him forever.
Right.
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, right.
Do you understand?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
could have been tied to...
Right.
Because according to you, things got a little bad. He drinks?
Yes, yes, heavy.
Do you drink too much, Mr. Reynolds?
I most certainly do not, Your Honor. I always drink a little glass of red wine every once in a while for my digestion. My nerves are bad with this young lady, and I have...
Well, you're not living with her for a long time, so how could your nerves be bad? They can't be bad with me.
She constantly lies, disappears, block her phone number.
All right, Mr. Reynolds, I'm done with you, sir. We're
I
done.
apologize,
And I'm
Judge
ju-
Judy.
just a
Please,
second.
Judge Judy, hear
No,
my case,
listen to
please.
me.
I will be quiet.
I'm done with you. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm done with you because your counterclaim is for the rent you say she owes you for the few months that she lived there because she lived in your house and didn't split the mortgage. That's what you want.
Yes, ma'am.
That's good. Goodbye!
Judge Judy, I have
All
a
these are
case.
excuses. You need to
Judge Judy,
step out.
please.
We're here today because of because of our loan.
Get in the court and start lying about there's no tombstone, okay?
We're here for
She never purchased one, okay?
just pain and suffering that I had to go through.
That is not my child. I'm certain, and I wanted the DNA.
The child is his, yes.
Boom, that's right.
Don't deal with no good men, no good guys, yes.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Page versus Jackson. Step forward.
Shalitha Page is suing Brandy Jackson for car repair bills after Brandy's daughter knocked over a parking sign, damaging her vehicle.
Miss Page, it is your claim that the defendant for damage to your car.
Yes.
So I'd like you to tell me when that happened, where it happened, and how it happened.
On February 13th, I had pulled up to pick my girls up from the Boys and Girls Club, and I had pulled up in front. My girls were on their way out, and I hear this loud boom. I didn't realize if it was my system or...
I don't care what you heard a boom.
I heard a boom, and so I'm just looking around because I didn't see them, but I hear someone honking, and at that point, I knew that I needed to get out of my car, and so I got out of my car, and
When you say you heard a boom, you know if something hits your car. Did you feel something hit your car?
I have a system in my car.
What?
I have a system in my car, and I listen to loud bass music, and it was so
That's
I was just
annoying.
like I didn't know what happened. So when I heard the person honking their car, I knew at that point I needed to get out of my car. So I put my car in park. I got out and came around, and I saw these two in the back corner of my car. Her daughter was crying hysterically. She's trying to comfort her, tell my kids to get in the car, and I'm like, I see the sign.
Just a second.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
The intervening act that caused damage to her car was the fact that you didn't have control of your daughter.
Right,
Your
she
daughter?
wasn't supposed to be parked there in the first place, Your Honor.
Now, do you have any other argument that you want to make? I just made it very fast.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Shalitha Page claims Brandy Jackson's daughter knocked over a parking sign, damaging her car.
You see the defendant
Yes.
with her little girl.
Yes.
Her little girl was crying.
Yes.
I want you to take step by step. So you see her little girl is crying, and
She's consoling her. I see this pole that's got a cement in the bottom so the wind doesn't knock it over against my car. And after I tell my kids to get in the car,
so your children came out
Yes.
of the Boys and Girls Club.
Two of
You
them.
tell them to get into the car. This pole with the cement block
Yes.
is leaning against your car.
Yes.
Okay, come up here. Tell me your name.
Sydney?
You remember what happened with the lady's car?
Uh-huh.
Do you go to the Boys and Girls Club?
Not anymore, it's closed.
But did you go for a time?
Uh-huh.
And tell me what happened with the pole and the lady's car.
Me and my mom were walking outside, and I grabbed a hold of the pole, and it fell over.
And it fell over. You didn't mean to do that.
Mm-mm.
No, of course not. Okay, go and sit down. You're a very pretty little girl and very smart. Terrific. So was there a scratch on your car?
several.
I'd like to see a picture of it.
These are just so you can see what kind of car I have, but there's that. And then here's the actual pole and the damage.
Okay, can I see an estimate for the damage,
Yes.
please? Okay. You have anything you want to tell me?
I do.
Well, let's make it brief because you're responsible for her damage. $452 is what it's going to cost. You have an adorable little girl who told me that she grabbed hold of this pole.
Yeah.
Whether she grabbed hold of it or she was trying to stand on it, she's your responsibility.
Yes, ma'am.
She's a child. You have to watch her.
Yes, ma'am.
If because of her actions, the plaintiff's car did not fly into the pole,
No.
there was an intervening act. And that intervening act was the fact that you didn't have control of your daughter. So if you're going to tell me that she wasn't supposed to be parked there because it's no parking, that's not the reason that her car was damaged.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Want justice? Go to Judge and follow us on Twitter.
Now, the reason her car was damaged was because you weren't in control of your child. That's the reason. And it says no standing, no drop-off, no pickup. That's not the reason her car was damaged. So I don't want to hear that. So forget that argument.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the arguments. Your car should not have been parked there. And your second argument in your defense was sue the city, not me, because they should not have put the sign up there. And if the sign wasn't there, then your daughter wouldn't have been able to topple it over into the plaintiff's car.
Right.
Both of those arguments fail. Now, do you have any other argument that you want to make? I just made it very fast.
Okay.
Those were the two you made in your
Yeah, I'd
defense.
like for you to see these. This is what the sign is in.
I know
which
what the
makes me
sign
think
is, and I see it.
This happened before.
No, that's
Just
oh.
a second. So now it's happened before.
I'm just assuming by the judge, or by
It
the
doesn't
looks
matter.
of the bucket.
It doesn't matter. The intervening act that caused damage to her car was the fact that you didn't have control of your daughter.
Right,
Your
she
daughter,
wasn't supposed to be parked there in the first place, Your Honor.
judging for the plaintiff in the amount of $452. We're finished.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I witnessed someone parked in the wrong place. My daughter's a 6-year-old girl, so just a step ahead of my daughter. We were holding hands, and she grabbed the pole whenever I wasn't
Good kid, but a wild child. And so
although watching her.
she just knows she messed up.
Accidents happen.
Keep an eye on your kids.
Their relationship broke her,
Well, the main thing is the credit card
and her ex's excuses won't fly.
We have airline tickets.
for him and his 3 children.
She did tell me she would take care of this trip.
You were all going on vacation.
He insisted on going. I opened a new credit card account, always with the agreement that he was going to repay me.
Your Honor, we didn't have that agreement.
That's part of the price of canoodling.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Jacqueline George is suing her ex-boyfriend, Randy Schooler, for the cost of a vacation unauthorized credit card charges, and the return or value of furniture.
Order. All rise. It's case number 96 on the calendar in the matter of George versus Schooler.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Miss George, you, for a period of time, and it is your claim that you made a series of loans to him during that time.
Yes.
You want your money back.
Yes.
And also that he has some furniture that you moved into his house at the time that you moved in with your children, and you also want that back. The defendant says that you did make a couple of loans to him. Those loans he paid you back for. And the loan that you allege with regard to a trip was a trip that you wanted to take to visit your family. You made the arrangements, and those things were a gift. Now, when did you and Mr. Schuler move in together?
Approximately the end of June 2018.
And how many children do you have?
I have 2.
And he?
3.
Do you have custody of your children?
I do, 50%.
Okay, so you share custody with
Yes.
their mother. And you moved into his house from where?
From my home, I own a townhome.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the furniture first. I assume that the furniture that you brought from your townhome?
Yes.
What furniture did you bring?
A dining room set, a kitchen
Hold on.
set.
How long have you been in your home, Mr. Schuler?
5 years now.
Did you have a dining room?
I did.
What did you do with it?
Brought it over to my mother's place.
So you gave it to your mother?
Stored it there, yes.
Okay. Do you want the dining room set back?
I would like it back, yes.
Fine. Get your dining room set from your mother. Within 5 days, she'll come and she'll pick it up.
Sounds good.
Perfect. What's next?
He has a kitchen table.
In your house,
I
when
did.
she moved in, what did you do with it?
Moved it upstairs in my house.
So you have it?
Yes.
5 days, you go pick up your kitchen
It was
set.
trashed.
If you don't go and pick it up, consider it abandoned.
Okay.
What's next?
A desk
Where is the desk?
in his family room was my son's bedroom desk.
Do you have it?
I do.
5 days, go pick it up. What's next?
2 antique tables that he still has.
You know what she's talking about?
I know of one that I have.
5 days, go pick it up. What's next?
That's pretty much it. Everything
Very
else
good.
is not.
5 days.
Okay.
5 days from today's date. Take an escort with you. I'll give you an order. Now let's move over to.
Is
What?
she allowed to come in my house? Is that?
Not she, the moving people.
Okay.
She can wait outside. She has to get moving people to come and move all these things.
Perfect.
Not children, family, nothing. Those things, you will have an order. If you want to have someone there videotaping it, fine. Those things 5 days from today. Next loan. You loaned him $1,000 for what?
I believe it was for his daughter's trip. She was going to Switzerland.
Did he pay you back that money, that $1,000? That's either a yes or a no.
He paid a total of $14.95.
But just a
but
second.
Yes.
Did he pay you back that $1,000? We've just taken care of that one. And then you had trouble with a tooth.
I did.
What month and year?
The tooth, I had to get a root canal and a crown put on, and that was in March.
Yes. On
And
my
did he
credit card.
pay you back
Almost.
for that?
Almost all of it.
Good. What's next?
Well, the main thing is the credit card. So he had requested to go.
Just a second. What was it that was charged on the credit card after the two of you separated and you moved out?
These charges happened in July. We were still together. The Excel bill was automatically being deducted
The
from
what?
my account, Excel Energy bill, because I had paid it
Okay.
for 1 month, and
Okay.
they had my bank information on file.
Did they take it out of your bank?
Yes.
How much was that?
That was $411.11 for 3 months.
Did you return that to her?
Yes, I did.
Not true.
Show me.
Sure.
That was for August and September.
Well, I paid her different checks, and there's a check.
No,
statement.
don't give me everything. Don't give me the kitchen sink. I'm talking only about the power bill.
I was liable included for $1,912 with the dental bill, the loan, and the Excel Energy. That's a personal loan that I felt I needed to pay back.
Talking about the electric bill, just the electric bill, that you acknowledge was taken out of her account. You wouldn't acknowledge that in your answer.
Yes.
I want to know if you gave it back to her. And if you did, show me proof that was after the two of you separated.
Not in one lump sum. Actually, the $500 cash that I did in September.
$411. Okay, $411 is yours. Okay, now, what else do you think card to use? And you gave him the credit card, according to you, when you were all going on vacation. You were going on vacation and you were going to visit your family.
Yes.
Yes. In what month?
What month were we going to visit my family? Was
What
July.
month did you go?
It was for 4th of July, yes.
And you went?
Yes.
In July. And you went with your 2 children and yourself and his 3 children and himself.
And they stayed in a separate motel, and I stayed in an apartment with my family. And he insisted on going. He requested to go. My children didn't want him to go on our family vacation. He
Listen
insisted.
to me. Understand where we're going. If your children didn't want him to go on a family vacation, you probably shouldn't have gone with him. But you went. Now, you flew, correct?
Yes.
And you purchased the tickets.
I opened a new credit card account, always with the agreement that I was always going to pay for myself and my children.
Oh, well,
he was always going to pay for himself and his children. And that is why he has a card in his own name.
Just a second. Miss George, did you ever go out for dinner when you were away on this vacation?
Yes.
What credit card did you use? Because I'm going to look at the bills.
Okay.
Did you use the credit card that you had given to him, or did you use a different credit card that was just in your name?
There was one dinner that he paid for.
Your family was there?
2 of my relatives were there.
You have to understand where I'm going. Where I'm going with this is when 2 people decide to live together and aren't married, and what they do is they sort of combine and play house, and they go together. Now it's your family. Now you want a judge, you want court to look at that dinner and say, how much did your cousin eat? And how much did your cousin's husband eat? And then there's you and your 2 children. You want me to separate that, and he and his children, because he's only supposed to pay for that. Courts don't do that. We don't have time for that nonsense. If you choose to convolute the extent of your togetherness, we don't explore who had the pasta and who had the veal chop. That's not happening.
I understand that, but
that's not happening.
Other charge is for him and his children.
Just a second. And
except for that dinner, every charge he charged, it's under his name. I'm an accountant. That's why I did it.
Fine.
We had the agreement that he was going to repay me.
Just a second. And I would like to see the charges on that. Listen to me. I don't care if you're an accountant. If you were an accountant, you wouldn't have gotten yourself into this trouble.
Right, and I was only in it for 6 weeks, and I left him.
May I just see the statement for the trip? Take a pen and outline the expenses that he was, with the exception of the one dinner, just so that we get it right, the exception of the one dinner are all his expenses for himself and his children. Say nothing.
Your Honor, we didn't have that agreement.
Just a second.
Okay.
Let me explain something to you, sir.
Okay.
If all of these expenses on this card are just for you and your children, you're going to pay for it. That's it.
This is all him and his children. And then there's one more statement. It's 30 days, but it went over 2 statements.
That's okay.
I'm just showing the dates. And this was all in July of 2018.
Your Honor, we had a different agreement for her living there rent-free.
Not true.
She had her own condo, so she wasn't living rent-free.
She moved in.
She moved in with you, but she had her own condo, which I assume she was paying for.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Right. And that's part of the price of canoodling.
Okay.
Got it?
Sure.
It's not as if she moved in with you and gave up her apartment. She moved in with you for a month. She lived with you for a month or 6 weeks, and she paid for her maintenance, her taxes, and everything else on her own apartment.
But she...
I own my own home.
Just a second.
I own my home.
I didn't ask you.
Okay. His mother owns his. I just wanted to mention that.
Okay. This is on your card. I'm going to go over...
I never...
Shh. You're Randy Scholler. Is that correct?
Yep.
That's your name.
Yep.
So I'm going to ask you a few things here, okay? This is July 2nd of 2018. Comcast cable.
Yes.
Now, you paid, with using your credit card, Comcast cable for where?
For bill, monthly bill.
That was a monthly bill?
Yes.
Okay. Had you ever paid that before?
Yes, I paid.
Okay, but not with this credit card?
No.
And you've been living in your house 5 years?
Yes.
So in July, that's when she moved in. You know, she moved
in previous.
Previous.
She was living there since March.
Not true.
If you speak out again, I'm going to dismiss your case. Do you understand? Perfect. So that's the first time. July 3rd, Angelo's Pizza, $17.
For the whole, all of us, kids, her kids, our
Impossible. Family. Wawa.
That's when we were on the trip in New Jersey.
Okay.
So we were all together.
That's $46. Well, that's possible that it's $46.09. These are all little things. Maury's Piers Adventures. Now, that's interesting. That's
They're
in
not all mine.
Shh. Speaking.
Okay.
Maury's Piers, that's an adventure place? Who went?
I don't know the date because we went a few times.
This is the 4th of July.
I was with my family, with my children, and my charges are separate. So there are Maury's Pier charges. That was just him and his
What
kids.
I'm asking you is, did you go on July 4th with him to Maury's Piers?
No, I was with my family.
You did not?
I did not.
Okay.
I believe I took her kids with me that time.
What you believe is not necessarily important to me. You went shopping on July 11th, and it was a big shopping bill, July 11th, and that was in Littleton.
That's where we reside.
That's where you live.
Yes.
And you used this credit card for that, $226.
What is it to?
It was a grocery store, King Supers.
That's providing groceries for all of us. Her kids, Jackie, all of us. She said use this card for expenses.
Okay, nothing terribly unusual here.
I was given the card.
Just shh.
Sorry.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Hi, Stephanie. This is Jackie, Randy's ex. He's a pathological liar and owes me thousands of dollars. Good luck with him. Everyone thinks he's a good guy. You'll find out. He's so not. Not terrifying. Maybe she's giving her good advice. What else?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jacqueline George says, ex-boyfriend Randy Schooler owes for a vacation. Randy is countersuing for trespassing and harassment.
Now what I would, just for my own giggle, State Farm Insurance in Illinois. That's a big bill. That's $629, sir. What insurance is that?
That's got to be for my truck.
That's your truck. Well, you don't expect her to pay your truck insurance, do you?
No.
No, $629. So it's $630 because it's $629.90. And there was a lot of sort of grocery shopping until the two of you separated. So I don't find any of these things the things that I'm going to deal with, except your car insurance. Because as I said, I'm not going to separate a Mexican restaurant in Littleton for $88 and whose children ate what. Okay, so far he owes you $1,041. Do we have anything else? We have airline tickets.
We have airline tickets.
We have airline tickets. Fine. And how much were his airline tickets, and how did you charge them?
His airline tickets were $1,178.74.
For whom?
For him and his 3 children.
Okay, let me see.
Your Honor, can I say something?
Sure.
She did tell me that she would take care of this trip and take my kids. She wanted me and my girls. That's where the untruth is, what she's saying. She promised me she would take care of the trip, either transfer her balance to another 0% credit card or pay it off. She wanted my girls to go.
Well, how old are you?
48.
48. Pay for yourself, pay for your own children.
I would choose to go someplace else versus going to see her family.
What's next?
Can I say something?
What's next?
Car insurance.
I took care of that already.
And it was never a gift. That is why...
Don't listen to me. I took care of that already.
There
I
was
figured
only
in the
one
dental
dinner out of the 32...
I don't care.
Okay.
Judges are not going to say you ate the pork chop and you had a pasta.
But they were
Do you
all
understand?
of his charges.
They may have been all of his charges, but he took you out to dinner. He took your children out to dinner. We're not getting into that. You decided that that's the way you wanted to run this. Run it that way, but you don't have to pay for his car insurance.
Okay.
So far, he owes you $2,278.
I paid it back for the trip.
Just a second.
Okay.
The loans I took care of is what you're telling me that you paid her back for the trip.
And the dental.
Don't annoy me.
Yes, ma'am.
If first you tell me that wasn't our agreement and I wasn't supposed to pay for the trip, and then you tell me I paid her for the trip.
Not for the trip. I paid the personal loans.
Just a second.
Okay.
I gave you credit for that, sir.
Okay.
She's not paying for your car insurance. She's not paying for your children's airfare for vacation. She's not paying for the Comcast bill. Do you understand those things? $278, and she'll pick up her furniture in 5 days from today, and then you'll have nothing to do with her. Now you have a ridiculous counterclaim. You want to tell me what it is?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Are you married?
No.
Were you married when she sent this?
Yes.
Well, you were married. So she says you're messing around. Maybe her husband shouldn't find a stray bullet. That's what she says. Don't mess around with married ladies.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jacqueline George says, ex-boyfriend Randy Schooler owes for a vacation. credit card charges, and furniture.
Now you have a ridiculous counterclaim. You want to tell me what it is?
It's not a ridiculous counterclaim. She came over to my house after we were separated. We heard a noise out in front of my house. She had her lights on behind my witness's car. She came into my garage through the open garage, or opened the garage part. We knew it was Jackie. I'm like, holy cow, Jackie's here. I ran downstairs, locked the deadbolt to the entryway coming into the house. Told her, Jackie, you have to go. She left, and I closed the other garage. We changed the garage code, did all that. About 2 hours later, she sent Stephanie, my witness, a nasty text like that she was terrified.
See the text.
Okay.
I'd like to see the text. Thank you.
I also have the text.
Shh. I don't want to hear you.
Okay.
What part of I don't want to hear you?
I'm sorry.
Thing is, I don't know how she got Stephanie's number.
This is not a terrifying... I don't care whether your girlfriend is terrified. This is not a terrifying message. Hi, Stephanie. This is Jackie, Randy's ex. He called me today trying to get back with me and told me...
That's a lie.
Okay,
sorry.
This is your evidence that I'm just reading. He called me today trying to get back with me and told me he isn't dating anyone, wanted to save you the trouble. I'm not a crazy ex. He's a pathological liar and owes me thousands of dollars. Good luck with him, but thought you should know. Everyone thinks he's a good guy. You'll find out. He's so not. Not terrifying. Maybe she's giving a good advice. What else?
That's not... Can I follow it up with a message she texted me? I have a couple that I would like you to read.
So far, you have a zero.
She came into my house. It's trespass. It's illegal that she came in.
So far, you owe her $2,278 in her furniture. I don't find this message terrifying.
Okay.
What's next? What do you find terrifying?
I have some harassing texts that...
I'd like to read them.
Okay. There's a couple. Thank you.
Are you married?
No.
Were you married when she sent this?
Yes.
Well, then this
separated.
That's married. Well, you were married. So she says you're messing around. Maybe her husband shouldn't find a stray bullet, if that's what she says. Don't mess around with married ladies. Next, highlighted. Highlighted. Okay. So can you answer this question for me? This was in October. All right, so you're already out. You're out. What are you doing outside his house on October 4th?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This was in October. All right, so you're already out. You're out. What are you doing outside his house on October 4th?
He lives a mile from me, and I drive by. My kids' friends live over there.
Who is she? I'm outside your house. I cannot believe you. What a loser. When am I getting my things back? Who is she? Why? What do you care?
He was still trying to manipulate me and try to get back with me.
He owes you $2,278 plus your furniture. Your counterclaim's dismissed.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
She trespassed on my property. She sent me ugly, harassing text messages.
I drove by his house, and I had a garage door opener, and I did open his garage door, and I tried to warn her.
She's a spurned lady that it didn't work out. I never was attracted to her.
About what kind of a narcissistic user, manipulator, jerk he is, and...
It just didn't work out, and she's spurned and unhappy.
Beware of narcissistic fools like Randy Schooler.
I wish I would have never met her, and a message out there, be careful who you invite into your life and into your circle.
Her boyfriend's home became a battleground.
You and the plaintiff had a fight. So now the relationship is over.
Then she stood her ground.
A judge excluded Mr. Allison from his own home.
The judge, whenever I got the emergency order protection, gave me possession.
There's something that sounds unfair to me.
When I first gained access to the house, virtually everything was gone.
Where did you take his possessions?
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Brandon Nicole Cook for damaged and stolen property and for filing a false restraining order.
Order. All rise. It's case number 14 on the calendar in the matter of Allison versus Cook.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Have a seat.
Miss Cook, I'm going to start with you. You and your children moved in to Mr. Allison's home in what month and year?
We officially moved everything in July of 2018.
Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you own this home?
I do, Your Honor.
How many children do you have?
I have 3 children.
And in what month did Mr. Allison leave the house as a result of the order of protection that you filed?
That was in December of 2018.
So you had lived there a total of 5 months
Yes, Your
with your
Honor.
children?
Yes, Your Honor.
This is what the case is about. You and Mr. Allison had an argument. The argument became a physical argument. At some point, you went to court and filed for a protective order against him.
Yes, Your
Is that
Honor.
right? And at the time that you filed for a protective order against Mr. Allison, you were not, in fact, in the home. You were not, in fact, in the home. You had left the home with your children.
Mr. Allison changed the locks to the home that we were living in.
Ms. Cook, for a protective order against Mr. Cook, after this argument, you and your children were not living in the home.
Yes, Your Honor.
How long had you not been in the home? Number of days or more?
3 to 4 days, Your Honor.
And where were you living for the 3 or 4 days with your children?
We had to reside at a hotel.
Where had you been living before you moved in with Mr. Allison?
I had a residence in Collinsville, Illinois.
You rented a place?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So what I want to see is your application for a protective order, which you got ex parte, which means you went by yourself, because whatever order you requested, somehow a judge excluded Mr. Allison from his own home.
Yes, Your Honor.
And I would like to see why, because that's what this case was about. This case is about the fact that you and the plaintiff had a fight. Nothing good about that. You had been living together for 5 months. It wasn't that you knew each other for years before that. You had been actually living together for 5 months. And you, according to you, had a life before that. You lived with your children, you had a residence. So now the relationship is over. And I'm not quite understanding why you think you had the right to go back and stay in that home and exclude Mr. Allison.
Your Honor, the judge, whenever I got the emergency order protection, gave me...
That's what I want to see, because there's something that sounds markedly unfair to me. Doesn't it sound unfair to you to put someone out of their home for, I don't know, 3 months or more? Mr. Allison says that when he got back, there were things missing from the house that belonged to him, and that's what the case is about. So I would like to see your application for a protective order. Absolutely outrageous. I've read the allegations that you make in your application for a protective order, and you were out of the house. Actually, there's no place in this application for protective order that says to the court that this is his home and that you were living there a relatively short period of time, less than half a year. And the most that you talk about here is that he broke your phone during an argument. That's pretty much it, that you had fights and he broke your phone. And for that, the judge found on your ex parte application that both parties have the right to occupy the premises, but the balance of equities reside in your favor. Outrageous. Just outrageous. Okay. The order was in December of 2018. On what date did you find?
Regained full access, unfettered access to my home on the 30th of March.
Did you ever have a hearing on this order of protection?
Ma'am, we had many hearings, Your Honor.
How was it finally resolved? Is there a final order of protection is the question?
Yes.
Can I see a copy of that?
Yes, Your Honor. And I do have 2 amended OPs as well, if you'd like to see those.
Yes. How many hearings did you have?
Everything said and done, I'd say...
How many hearings did you have, Ms. Cook?
4.
I would say around 6 hearings, Your Honor.
Did you have an attorney?
No, Your Honor, I did not.
Oh, so he granted. It was filed on December 17th, where the judge granted exclusive occupancy to you of the premises. And then there's some kind of scribble here. Is this the way they do that there?
Yes, Your Honor.
For 4 months, until April 17th.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Did you pay all of the utilities on the residence starting in December?
Yes, Your Honor, I did. And I even
Until
paid,
when?
Until I moved out, and I even paid back utilities that Mr. Allison had failed to pay.
Whatever. You pay the utilities. That was ordered by the judge, because evidently he went a little crazy. Now that I have a picture of what was going on here, I'd like you to tell me what damage to the property do you allege, and what property do you allege she took?
As to the house, that would have been on March 29th. Virtually everything was gone. My furniture, my televisions, things that stuff that I collected in active duty.
Did you get them back?
I did at the last moment.
How did you get them back?
I filed for a motion with the order of protection judge, and the judge ordered that she return my possessions within 7 days.
Where did you take his possessions?
They were our possessions, and our stuff was all mixed into 3 different storage units over a time span of going back and forth in the relationship.
You moved into his house in July. When you moved into his house, was his house furnished or not furnished?
Semi. We collected...
When you moved out on March 29th, did you take some of his furniture?
No, I did not take any of his furniture when I moved out on March 29th.
Did you take his furniture at any other time prior to March 29th?
There was a couch set that we had gotten, and there was a bedroom set that he had given my daughter, which he has back.
So you took furniture and you returned it?
I did not take furniture that was not partly mine.
What are you alleging, sir, that she took of yours that you still don't have?
There are a lot of things that can't be...
Look at me.
Yes, Your Honor.
Of yours that you didn't get back.
Of a monetary value would be a Roku stick.
What is that?
It plugs into the television so that you can watch Netflix and whatnot.
Next.
Next. A personal hair trimmer.
Next.
Okay. I understand. It's right.
I mean, I actually think that some judge gave her the opportunity to stay in your home. I can't go beyond that. Do you understand that, Mr. Allison? Okay. So I'm not going beyond that, and you've already had hearings on that. So I'm not entertaining the part of your case that deals with filing for a false restraining order. So your case has 2 parts to it. The first part of your case is items that you allege that she took that you didn't get back. And so far, I'm hearing a lot of nonsense. You want to tell me if there's anything important that you didn't get back, not your hair trimmer?
The most important thing would be my washer and dryer set that I bought in November. It was $1,284.
I'd like to see the bill. Washer and dryer, did you take it?
That was returned to the store, Your Honor.
It was what?
It was returned to the store, Your Honor.
Why was it returned to the store?
Because we had separated, and the washer and dryer was bought with my money.
Just a second. So you bought it, you used it for 4 months, and is what you're telling me the store gave you your money back?
Your Honor, it was not used for 4 months, and it was returned.
Installed in the house?
They delivered it to install it, yes.
Was it installed in the house?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you use it to wash clothes?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then the store didn't take it back and give you money?
Yes, Your Honor, they did.
Prove it to me. Prove it to me that the store... I'll wait right here. Go get somebody at the store to tell me that they gave you back the money for the washer and dryer after you used it. I don't care if you used it for a month. You get where I'm going?
I do.
Good. $1,283.74. That's the washer and dryer.
Yes, Your Honor.
Next.
As far as property, monetary value?
Property. Washer and dryer is property.
That was by far the biggest one.
Okay, then let's move on.
Okay.
Now you say that there was damage to the home. I'd like to see photographs of the damage.
Mind you, one of those pictures, Your Honor, is the storage unit that my items were in.
I don't know what this is.
Those are door handles that were ripped off, Your Honor. Ripped off of one was the bathroom closet door, the other was the guest bedroom door. There were holes punched in the door and patched over.
How did the window get broken?
We had a really long windstorm for a few days that continued, and the back door, it doesn't close all the way, and the wind caught it.
Or the invoice for fixing it?
I don't have that, Your Honor.
Well, how am I supposed to make a determination of how much it cost to fix it?
I suppose you can't.
I suppose not. Okay, so we have $1,283. You have a counterclaim. Return of funds for renovation. What is that for?
The return of funds that Mr. Allison kept of mine.
$1,200, what did I say? $83.74. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Honor,
We're finished.
I would like to ask that my daughter is able to come out here and testify as well, because my countersuit involves more than just money.
We're done. $1,283.74. We're finished.
Parties are excused. Step out.
I'm glad that I could get something back. She knows the system. She knows how to play it. That's how we ended up here. I was put out of my house for 108 days. I lost my cat for 108 days. Take care of yourself before you try to take care of others.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Schofield, Follansbee versus Nelson. Step forward.
Natasha Schofield and her father, Michael Follansbee, are suing their neighbor, Leona Nelson, for tree services, harassment, and invasion of privacy.
Who's going to speak?
She will.
And you are Miss Schofield.
Yes, ma'am.
You both own the property,
Correct.
And you live together?
Yes.
And the property, and there is a tree that's on your property.
Yes, ma'am.
And the tree, according to you, hangs over your property.
Some of the branches do, Your Honor.
I'd like to see a picture of it.
Can I say something about the tree, Your Honor?
Shh. No, don't tell me anything about the tree. I just want to see visualize what we're talking about. I see a lot of trees. Is this the tree that you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
And these are the branches, and this is your house?
The White House is mine.
Okay, so some of these branches hang over your roof?
My roof and my backyard and my driveway.
Okay.
She complains about all the trees.
What?
She complains about all the trees.
Well, she's talking about this tree right now. And if it hangs over your property, trim it.
Yes, so I tried to do that. However, Miss Nelson put things on the Exeter Facebook page along with our co-op's Facebook page saying that I am not.
You do live in a co-op?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, just a second. That's a different story.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If you have a letter, Ms. Schoenfeld, from the board, it says that they are allowing you to trim the trees and your head.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Natasha Schofield and her father, Michael Follansbee, claim living next to neighbor Leona Nelson is a nightmare. Leona's countersuing for damages to her house and property and harassment.
Okay, so you don't own your home.
Yes, we do.
Well, not if you live in a cooperative.
We own our home and rent our land.
In a cooperative, you own shares in a cooperative. Not in this, what state do you live in?
New Hampshire, and basically what it is a company talks a mobile home park into letting the residents do the rules instead of having an owner do the rules.
So it's a mobile home park?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you pay rent or maintenance to an organization for the land?
Yes.
Yes.
We lease the lot. We don't pay rent.
Just a second. Then you can't cut the tree. That's something that the cooperative has to do. And that the cooperative deal with it. And if you don't like that, sue the cooperative. Then there must be a president of the cooperative and there must be a co-op board. Is there a co-op board?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is there a president of the co-op board?
Yes, Your Honor.
No, it's just the board president. There's no president.
I just said that, no. There's a board and the president of the board.
Yes, Your
And
Honor.
if the president of the board allows a hazardous condition to be maintained, you sue them. You don't sue her.
Your Honor, I went to the board. They told me that we would have to pay for the trimming of the branches because there wasn't any money in the fund.
Just a second. Well, if you have a letter, Ms. Schoenfeld, from the board that says that they are allowing you to trim the trees that overhang your mobile home, which you own, and they've given you permission to do, stop shaking your head. Stop. Did you hear what I said?
Yes, ma'am.
And if they've given you permission to do that, but they've said, you're right, go ahead and do it, but we have no money in our fund to do that. If you want to do it and take that expense on yourself, we give you permission to do that because you're just lessees of the land. Then do it. And if what you're complaining about is that she wrote on her Facebook page or somebody's Facebook page, you better not touch my trees, I can't do anything about that.
I actually went out and hired the company to come in, and they were told to leave her property.
She told them.
Then the co-op board has to deal with her.
Yes.
That's
Your Honor,
not for
I
me
already-
to deal with her. That's for the co-op board to deal with her and property. And we are going to be there. The president of the board is there when you hire a company and says to the people who are going to trim the tree, this is our property. You may trim the tree. You can't get me involved with her because she's doing the wrong thing. What do you want me to do with her?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
All I want to know is, do you own the land?
No.
Then if you don't own the land, you can't tell anybody to get off the land.
Well, I also went to the co-op board, and they said that
Don't tell me what they said.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Natasha Schofield and her father, Michael Follansbee, claim living next to neighbor Leona Nelson is a nightmare. Leona's countersuing for damages to her house and property and harassment.
Okay. All I want to know is, do you own the land?
No.
Good. Then if you don't own the land, you can't tell anybody to get off the land, is what I'm telling you.
Well, I also went to the co-op board.
Good.
And they said that
Don't tell me what they said.
Okay, well...
I don't care what they
Okay.
told you. I'm telling you.
Okay.
She's allowed to trim property because if you prevent her...
Okay, we're not allowed.
Telling her, if she gets a letter from the board, then she can do it. And
Okay.
you can't stop her.
That's true.
Right. And if you say that there's a rule that you can't trim trees, and they're not going to give her the letter. I don't have to speculate into all that. Now, you have a counterclaim for harassment.
Because Michael keeps harassing me and he doesn't live there. He lives in New Jersey.
So?
We have a whole set of rules for the co-op. You can't own a home where we live unless you live in it, and he lives in New Jersey.
Okay, so you notify the co-op board, and then the co-op board will tell him, then the co-op board will tell him not to live there. What else?
Well, like the cats and dogs. It's like we have a cat and dog rule. You have to have the cats in the house, and you can't have the dog outside unless you're with the dog. And her animals are in my yard. I have a video of her cat tearing up my screen.
Oh, I'd like to see that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, I'd like to see a picture of her cat destroying your property. She's responsible for that.
Now I know where all the rips are coming from the screen.
As a picture of the cat, maybe you can see it better.
No. Listen to me. I asked you a simple question. Do you have a picture of a ripped screen?
Just in that picture.
There's nothing in this picture.
Well, that's
I need to see a picture of the damage to the screen. That you don't see here. And by the way, I would keep my cat inside. You have a hostile neighbor. And if you love your cat, I would keep your cat
Ma'am, I asked her about that one
indoors.
time.
I don't ask you anything. All I asked you is, first thing, a picture of the damage, which you don't have.
Yes, ma'am. I thought.
What's next?
Well, she actually told me that she doesn't think cats should be inside, and that's
We're
why
done.
the cat
Thank
was
you very
out.
much. Your case is dismissed.
Wait a minute,
Social counterclaim. We're done.
Wait a
Thank
minute.
you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Leona is harassing me and my children.
She's harassed me to the point where I can't even work now.
We called the police. They came out and they charged her.
I'm being treated for high blood pressure and panic attacks.
We should be able to enjoy our backyard.
This woman is going to kill me.
Her daughter can't settle down.
The two older children are fathered by one man, and the two younger children are fathered by another man.
2 years ago, you had a different boyfriend. Talk about dysfunction.
And she's still on.
You understand that that's not particularly good for your children.
Yes, ma'am.
Especially when you have a revolving door of boyfriends in your house. I mean, you do it anyway. That makes you pretty selfish.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Raylene Eppert is suing her daughter, Melissa Ray Bowen, for unpaid utility bills.
Order. All rise. It's case number 10 on the calendar, the matter of Eppert versus Bowen.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Miss Bowen, Miss Eppert is your mother. And you have children. How many?
I have 4.
How old are they?
17, 15, 11, and 5.
Is your current boyfriend the father of any of those children?
No, ma'am.
When did you ask your mother to put a utility bill in your name?
I never asked her. It was an agreement between her and my grandmother.
Did you move in with your grandmother?
Yes, I did.
When?
I believe May of 2016, 17.
Did she have a house?
She didn't know. We moved into a house together. She was living with my mother.
Okay, so let's go back. You and your grandmother moved into a place at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Your grandmother had been living with your mother.
I don't know exactly how long.
And in 2016, you had a 3-year-old, a 9-year-old. And did you have the same boyfriend or no boyfriend?
I had a different boyfriend when we moved into this house.
You understand that that's not particularly good for your children?
Mm-hmm.
You do understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I mean, you do it anyway. That makes you pretty selfish.
I don't think I'm selfish.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. If you have 4 children, none of whom are fathered by your current boyfriend. 2 years ago, you had a different boyfriend who was also not the father of your children. Mm-hmm. That's pretty selfish. That goes like this with your kids. Okay, so you moved in with your grandmother into a place at the same time. Was there a lease?
Yes.
In whose name was the lease?
It was in both of our names.
Is this your grandmother?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you stand up, please? What's your last name?
Reed.
Now, when you moved into a house with your granddaughter, did you ever have a conversation with your daughter about putting the utility bill in your name?
No, I was told at a later date that's what had happened.
Told by whom?
I was told by my granddaughter and confirmed later by my daughter.
That it was put in your daughter's name?
Yes, she set it up.
When you were living with your granddaughter, were you sharing the utility bill with her? You splitting it down the middle?
No, I paid a portion of it and other incidentals there.
What was the rent on the house?
When we first moved in, it was about $1,100 or $1,200.
And how much did you pay?
Don't remember, because there were 3 of us, and it was split between myself, Melissa, and her other boyfriend that lived there. I think it was around $500.
Were all of her 4 children living with her?
Pardon me?
Were all of her children living with her?
They lived there with her, yes.
Were there 4 children in 2016 living with your granddaughter?
Yes.
They were off and on living there. My ex-husband and I have split custody, so 1 week on, 1 week off. They were not there the whole month.
Of the 2 older
I didn't ask
children.
where they were the whole month. They slept there. Where did they go to school from?
By their dad's house.
Well, if they went to school from their father's house, that means that they slept at their father's house during the week, unless he lives in the same school district.
I would drive them to school every morning on the weeks that I had them.
Your Honor, her 2 older children, not the 2 younger children. The 2 older children are fathered by one man, and the 2 younger children are fathered by another man.
So the now 15 and 17-year-old would split their time.
Yes.
But not the 2 younger ones.
I helped to arrange their child custody, and they had, okay.
That's all I asked.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just figuring out the financials. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 of you full-time. You, your then boyfriend, not the current boyfriend, and 2 of your children full-time, 2 of your children part-time, on the one hand, paying rent, and then rent. How much did you pay?
Around $500.
Not around. I don't want to know around. How much did you give her every month?
Honestly, it was 500 and something, and I can't remember the dollar amount.
How much did your grandmother give you every month towards rent?
$500.
Well, that should cover her portion of the rent and also utilities. You're 6 people. She's 1 person. Okay. Who actually wrote out the check for utilities?
We paid it online. But it came out of my account after she gave me the cash.
Great. Now, which month didn't your daughter pay?
July and August.
Why?
I have my August bill. She turned off the power the day my grandmother moved out the house, but I was paid in full up until she moved out. And then I started the bills on August 1st.
Just a second. Can you show me a statement where there was outstanding utility bill that you were held responsible for?
So my name's on the top. And that's her address. That's just the power. The gas is right here, and it's not as clear as how they broke that one down.
Just a second.
Where she lived.
Did you pay this bill?
Yes, ma'am.
You have proof that you paid this bill?
Yeah, if you flip it over, what they did was I have a payment plan, and what they do is they pull it right out of my payment plan.
I have a bank
And it
statement
shows-
proving that she did fraud on my account to attempt to support.
Did she do that?
Huh?
No. Was she successful in trying
No,
to
I
pay?
stopped the payments.
Was she successful in trying to pay it out of your account? The answer is no. You stopped it.
I stopped the payments.
Okay, so you owe her $332.10.
But what about my counterclaim?
$332.
For the false statement?
Just a second. I haven't gotten to your counterclaim yet,
Okay.
which is going to be very interesting. Talk about dysfunction all over the place. All right, so let me see if I understand your counterclaim. So far, you owe your mother $332.10.
Excuse me,
This is your
ma'am.
counterclaim.
There's two bills, power and gas. So the other one's $34.18. There's two separate documents you have that are stapled, each separate stapled.
Oh, okay. Got it. $366. Now, the counterclaim is slightly more interesting than a utility bill. Forget hacking into your account. You turn that back. Filing a false CPS and child abuse charge. Okay, so let me see if I understand what you're suggesting in that. What you're suggesting is that you didn't want your grandmother living with you anymore because, according to you, the FBI was investigating her.
They were. Mm-hmm.
So you told her to leave.
Yes.
In retaliation for that, your grandmother called your mother and told your mother that your current boyfriend was abusing your children. That's as a result of that. Your mother called for a police check, which resulted in a Child Protective Services investigation.
No, she called CPS after we were cleared because the cops wouldn't do anything. And it's right here in the police statement that I have.
Perfectly reasonable. Perfectly reasonable. So let me understand this. Your mother gets a call from her mother, who lives with you, who tells her daughter that your boyfriend, is that you?
Yes.
Was abusing your children. Your mother has several choices. She can ask you, is your boyfriend abusing the children? Which you would respond, absolutely not.
I told her no.
Just a second. That's akin to doing nothing. Or she can call the authorities and say, I want an investigation because I understand from my mother that there may be abuse going on in the house.
No, ma'am, that is not what happened.
Your Honor, I
that's what you say what happened.
She had come down and asked to see the kids at 11:30 at night, and I wouldn't let her see them due to them being asleep. She told me then that if I wouldn't let her see the kids, that she would call the cops to do a welfare check. They showed up about midnight 30, woke up my kids, questioned everybody, pulled us out of the house, and we were cleared that night. My grandma admitted in the police report that no abuse was done.
Let me read to you what you say. Your mother, in her statement, by the way, said unsettling call from the house. That, I assume, is the unsettling call from her mother, advising her that something was going on with the boyfriend. I assume this boyfriend, since it's now 2018 and you've moved on. Your answer says, in June, I discovered the FBI was investigating my grandmother. So I wanted her out of the house and away from my children. My grandmother didn't want to leave and told my mother that my boyfriend was abusing my children. That's what you wrote.
Yes, ma'am.
That's when my mother decided to believe her. Put your hand down. And called the police to do a welfare check. That's exactly what I would have done. Exactly what I would have done. That's what I would hope that every person would do if they got such a phone call from their parent, especially when you have a revolving door of boyfriends in your house.
I do not have a revolving door of boyfriends.
You owe your mother $366. Your counterclaim's dismissed. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're finished.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Skiba versus Wolf. Step forward.
Kathleen Skiba is suing her former friend, Joshua Wolf, for money owed for a Crown Victoria.
Mr. Wolf, what kind of work do you do?
I do construction.
Do you work for yourself or for a company?
I live with my son.
And he goes to school?
Yeah.
Now, you used to work as a caretaker for the plaintiff.
Yes.
From what year to what year?
I was not year to year. I worked for Miss Skiba for one job. It was fixing her toilet and installing her furnace.
And you did that when?
Last October.
When did you start to rent her home from her?
October 1st.
Of last year?
2018, yes.
And did you have a written lease with her?
Yes.
Do you have a copy of that lease?
Yes.
I'd like to see it, please.
It is a land contract. It's not a lease.
It's a land contract, ma'am, not a lease.
I see it. So what you were doing is you were renting to buy?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you both signed this rent to buy, and the contract was made September 4th, 2018.
Yes.
And you were buying the property for $30,000.
Yes, ma'am.
And you were paying interest at 6% a year. And the monthly payments were $350.
Yes, ma'am.
All very neatly in here. Now, during the course of this rent-to-purchase agreement, you were paying her rent every month?
Yes, ma'am.
No.
When did he not pay you rent?
Year. I received 2 payments that my mother got, and that's it. And then one...
Do you have, just a second, since October, when you moved in,
Yes.
do you have proof that you made payments on the rent?
I do.
I'd like to see them.
They don't have the evidence with me.
Well, that's what I need.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
The agreement was that he was going to drive you around, and in exchange for that, you would give him the car.
Nothing was ever given to him.
I will determine whether you sold him the car or gave him the car. That's what we're here for.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Kathleen Skiba says her former friend and tenant, Joshua Wolf, stiffed her on the purchase of a car. Joshua's countersuing for stolen tools and false allegations of domestic abuse.
Do you have proof that you made payments on the rent?
I do.
I'd like to see them.
They don't have the evidence with me.
Well, that's what I need.
Okay.
I have that I have already took him to court, the evidence that he hasn't paid it and that he has to pay.
I'd like to see it. When was the last payment that you received for rent?
Well, I actually told him I wasn't going to take no more payments.
No.
The last payment I got from him was in January.
Of what year?
Of 19. Okay.
We have October, November, and December. 3 months' rent was before January. Now, did you receive 3 months' rent? October, November, and December.
3 months, correct.
In what month did you advise Mr. Wolf that you had to move back into the house?
I advised him that I was coming back there.
What
it was,
day and month?
It was around the end of February. I was really sick from where I was living. I had to get my lungs flushed.
Just a second. I'm not asking you for your story.
All right.
In what month did you tell him that you were coming back to the house?
February.
Now, in what month did you come back to the house?
It's the end of February.
February.
Correct.
Now, this is what the case is about. It is your claim that you came back to the house and that when you came back to the house, you sold him an old car.
Yes.
You sold him the car for $1,250. He hasn't paid you for the car. The defendant says you didn't sell him the car. You came back to the house, lived in the house. It was supposed to be only for a week because you weren't well. You were supposed to look for an apartment. The agreement was that he was going to drive you around and he would come to where you were and take you back to the house. And in exchange for that, you would give him the car. That's what you said, and you actually would be a yes.
Yes.
Now, when he rented your house, in what state was the house?
Michigan.
And where did you move to?
I was staying in Livonia, Michigan, and I came there because I was needing a surgery.
No, listen to me.
Ma'am, nothing was ever given to him.
Listen to my questions.
Gotcha.
I will determine whether you sold him the car or gave him the car. That's what we're here for.
Right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So I picked him up, and he came and stayed the night at my house, and we drove back in the morning.
So he actually stayed over.
He stayed over.
Working for you to help you move.
Right, because I'm disability, ma'am.
Listen, that's unfortunate for you, but as far as the law is concerned, that means that I don't care.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Kathleen Skiba says her former friend and tenant, Joshua Wolf, stiffed her on the purchase of a car. Joshua's countersuing for stolen tools and false allegations of domestic abuse.
Now, did the defendant come to your home where you were living to bring you back to the house that he was renting to own in the car?
No, I picked him up in my car.
You drove?
I drove.
Picked him up? That's what you started to tell me?
Yes.
What month was that? February?
Yes.
So you drove from where you were in February and picked him up. And then what did you do after you picked him up?
We drove back the next day and
You drove back?
With the car.
Just a second.
And my U-Haul.
You picked him up and drove him to where you were staying. That's a yes or a no? Where you had rented a U-Haul.
Yes.
That's a yes or a no?
That would be yes.
And how long did it take, once you picked him up, to drive back? How many hours or miles was
They
it?
stayed the night. We left first thing in the morning, about 6 hours.
So he drove back with you 6 hours to where you were. You stayed at his home.
No, he stayed at my home.
No. He was renting to own the house. So you were staying.
I was renting where I was living. So I picked him up and he came and stayed the night at my house and we drove back in the morning.
Just a second. So we actually stayed over.
He stayed over.
Working for you to help you move.
Right, because I'm disability, ma'am.
Listen, that's unfortunate for you, but as far as the law is concerned, that means and I don't care.
Right.
You picked him up, drove him back 6 hours to your house with his son?
Yes.
Yes, the two of them drove back 6 hours. Both of them slept over at your house, helped you load up, drove back to the house that he was renting to own that you said you had to stay in for a while, or whatever. Because your lawsuit has to do with $1,250 for a car. All I want you to show me is proof of how much you paid the defendant and his son to move you.
Well...
No.
I don't have anything because they said they would do it for him never giving me any rent, basically, because he never pays me nothing. And he stayed there also.
No, that's just a second. That's what
August.
Just a second. That's what you told me. You told me he moved in October and he paid October, November, and December's rent. And you gave him the car in exchange for moving you 12 hours with his son. Not only him, he brought his son to move your stuff.
Because
in
he didn't
exchange
have a
for that, your
license,
case is
ma'am,
dismissed.
and I
We're
never
done.
gave him
We're done with your
nothing.
case.
Would
Listen
you like
to me.
to see the
We're
pictures
done.
of the legal activity going in my house? That's why I left.
Listen to me. We are done
He's
with your case.
still in my home.
I don't care.
He owes me thousands.
Listen to me. I don't care.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Your lawsuit here has to do with a car.
That he
period.
owes me.
And I find you gave him no money to move you in February.
But he also lived in my home for months with no money also, ma'am, before.
Very good. You have title to the car?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
It's your car. Now
he can pack the boxes in it and leave my home. That's great.
Now, you have a counterclaim for your tools.
Yes, I do, ma'am.
Very good. You still living in the house?
Yes, I am.
Show me the last rent check you sent to her.
Actually, I don't have the last rent check because I told her...
Then your counterclaim's dismissed. We're done. Over.
Okay.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He can actually pack his boxes and get out of my house when we get home because I have an attorney, and he will be out real soon.
It's unfortunate that I left my receipts inside my folder, inside my backpack.
Because he won't pay. He's still not paying. It's been almost a year.
Because she's full of fraudulent everything. I paid every bill except the last 3 months of that house.
He was just supposed to pay me. I'm not going to give a stranger a car.
She threw away over $5,000 worth of my tools. That's my livelihood.
Oh, he had drugs all growing in my house, and he got rid of them. And
growing marijuana, it's recreation, nothing else without signed documentation.
I just want him out, and I'm going to get him out as soon as I get home.
I've always helped her no matter what, and
Mom gave until it hurt.
she needed help with her rent.
So 2 months later, she hadn't paid you back, and she wanted phones.
Yes, that's a lot of money to just hand over.
But her daughter's attitude was hurtful.
I just thought that they were gifts initially. She's always buying my kids gifts and taking them out.
You're old enough to have 4 children. You're old enough to pay your own rent.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Patricia Riley is suing her daughter, Kristen Lazama, for the cost of 4 laptops, 3 cell phones, and a loan for rent.
Order. All rise. It's case number 27 on the calendar in the matter of Riley versus Lezama.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Mr. Riley, the defendant is your daughter, and you claim a series of loans to her that were really to her and her husband.
Yes. To myself.
Your husband's name is George. Made these loans, and for what purpose, Miss Riley?
Well, it started in February 2018. She needed help with her rent.
February of 2018. That's
Yes.
well over a year ago. And how much was that loan?
That loan with helping with the rent and then purchasing laptops for the kids was $1,030.
Rent, I understand that they were having some difficulty. Why did you purchase laptops for her children?
For schoolwork. She asked me if I could help them get some laptops for schoolwork.
And you're their grandmother?
Yeah, I'm their grandmother.
I'm not interested in
Okay.
buying them laptops for school, for your
Okay.
grandchildren. Buy them. 2018, how much did you give her for rent?
$450 for rent in February.
Okay. And when was the next money that you gave her?
I loaned her $100 in April for 3 prepaid telephones so we could keep in touch.
Just a second. So 2 months later, she hadn't paid you back any money.
Yes.
From February, and she wanted phones.
Yes.
So you bought prepaid phones for $100.
Yes.
What's next?
September 2018 was the last loan. They were having some financial difficulties once again, and I helped with utilities and rent and, you know, personal stuff, and that was $1,595.
And you hadn't gotten any money back from February.
She's my
of
daughter,
2000
Your Honor.
Just a second. You hadn't gotten any money back from February of 2018, and you hadn't gotten any money back for the $100 that you, with, as you say, you helped him out with rent and other things and personal things.
Yes, ma'am.
7 months later.
Yes, ma'am.
Having not been paid back anything before.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what mothers do.
Yes, that's what mothers do. But
Right.
They were all stipulated as loans.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about a loan. I heard about help me out.
She needed help. I helped her, but we discussed that it would be a loan because that's a lot of money to just hand over.
Well, if it was a lot of money, then you wouldn't have given her money 7 months after
She's
she
my
hadn't paid
daughter.
you back. I'm speaking. If it was a loan and she hadn't been a good payer and hadn't paid you back a penny of what you gave her 7 months before, you wouldn't have given her another loan.
But I did, Your Honor. I did give her another loan.
Then I don't think that you had any reasonable expectation of being repaid.
I
That's
was
what a loan
hopeful,
is.
very hopeful.
That's what a loan is. A loan is when you have a reasonable expectation of being repaid. But if you have no reasonable expectation of being repaid, which I haven't heard, because February, $450. Another couple of months later, another $100. 7 months later, another $1,500. And all the while, you haven't gotten paid back a penny from now over a year ago.
That's true.
So you want to tell me what it is that got a bee in your bonnet?
They got
all of a sudden, starting from February of 2018. What's the bee in your bonnet?
Well, we had multiple conversations about getting paid back.
No, I want to know what's the bee in your bonnet now.
Oh, I'm not. I recently was declared disabled, and while I'm waiting for disability, I have no income, and I wanted my daughter to start paying me back so I could have money to live on.
So you asked her if she would...
I asked her if she would please.
Tell me the conversation you had with her, and when it was, and whether it was on the phone or in person.
Well, the last conversation that we had, I was in person, I believe, at her house, her home, and I asked her...
Tell me what month and year.
It was early this year, our last conversation, I believe.
Well, give me the month and year.
April.
Oh, December, I'm sorry, December 2018. 2018, I'm sorry. I'm a little nervous.
And at her home?
Yes.
Well, tell me about the conversation.
I asked her if she could start paying me back because they had both started working, and that I really needed the money and that I was desperate until I got my disability, that I had no income.
And what did she say?
She said, Mom, I really don't have the money, but I'll try.
Okay, and?
And I asked, it didn't happen. It just didn't happen. You know, it's heartbreaking for me to even be here, honestly, because I love my daughter.
So the question is, why are you here?
Because I want her to be responsible for what she says. Because I've always helped her no matter what. And
who do you live with, Miss Riley?
Oh, I live with my boyfriend.
Is that your boyfriend? Where does he live?
He lives in Sacramento. I live in the North Bay in Petaluma.
What does your boyfriend do?
Right now, he's currently disabled as well.
How long has he been out on disability?
Probably about 8 months.
And how long have you been on disability?
I haven't got it yet, ma'am. It's not approved yet. I'm still waiting.
When did you apply? What kind of work were you doing?
I worked for A&J Custom Farming. I delivered fuel to the guys in the fields doing hay.
For how long?
I did that for almost a year and a half.
Before that?
Before that, I worked in construction in Merced, California, where my daughter currently lives.
And what's the nature of your disability?
I have peripheral artery disease, and I have bilateral carotid stenosis, and lungs are affected from the fires that we had up north.
Did you apply for disability?
Yes.
The answer is yes.
Yes.
Were you initially rejected from
Yes.
disability? Did you hire an attorney?
Yes, I did.
And so now you're in the appeals process?
Yes.
How long ago did you apply for disability?
In November, when I first...
November of 2018?
18, yes.
Your Honor, can I say something?
Sure.
The reason this became more difficult for my mom in the early 2019 is because of her medical situation. So I stepped in to help financially, help her get through bills and such. And that's when me and my sister had multiple conversations about Antner.
Mr. Antner, tell me when you first had a conversation with your sister.
It would have started in late 2018 as well, at some time, when the larger loan took place. That's kind of when my mom's financial situation became a little more difficult, and I was helping my mom out financially. So
What kind of work do you do?
I work for a utility company.
What did your sister say to you?
That she had all the intention to pay her back. She just didn't have it at that time, and that conversation repeated itself. So it put a lot of stress on me, ultimately, in trying to help my mom financially, and that's kind of put a strain between the three of us over time.
What about her husband?
I don't have much dialogue with her husband. Never had conversation with him about it before.
Is there a reason for that?
Not necessarily, no.
Hmm?
He works a lot, and we live in different cities, so my contact is usually with my sister.
Do you get along with your son-in-law?
For the most part, I try to.
Your daughter suggests in her answer to your complaint that the reason you're asking for this money now is because you had some sort of an argument with your son-in-law.
Oh, we've argued on multiple occasions, but I try not to argue with him. I know because it just puts pressure on, my grandkids and the home life, so. But it's not because we argue that I'm asking for this money. I've been asking for it for some kind of payment for months. Even $10, $20, anything to help me out. And nothing.
Okay, now I'm ready to hear from you.
I didn't pay her back any gifts initially because she would come around when she lived in the same town all the time. She's always buying my kids gifts and taking them out.
I'm not talking about gifts. I'm talking only about rent.
Okay.
How many months' rent did your mother pay for you?
I would say...
No, I don't want you to, I would say.
3.
Think.
3.
And how much is your rent?
$450.
Rent, and you have how many children?
4.
4 children. And your husband is the father of all 4 of these children?
No, he's not the father of any of my children.
He's not the father of any of them?
No.
Do you get child support from any of the fathers?
No, I don't.
Oh, well, you must have picked a bunch of winners.
Well, no, but their dads do help take care of them. Just never had a child support case or custody. I never went to court for it because I don't feel I don't need it.
How do they take care of him?
Well, they see them equally just as much as I do and provide for them whatever they need.
So what you're saying is you share custody with them?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? What do you mean, yes? They're your 4
Well, because
children.
I just recently went to custody with 3 children I have with one, and then my eldest is with somebody else. So for my 3 children, we do have a shared custody agreement that we just recently went to court for.
How often are the 3 children with their father?
Every day. So Monday through Friday, I get my kids after school until about 7 or 8 p.m., and I take them home, and then every other weekend, they spend the night with me.
Let's go a little slower.
Okay, so Monday through
Friday, which means they sleep with their father.
Yes.
Is that all the time, except for weekends occasionally with you?
Every other weekend, yes.
So the children live with their father?
Yes.
The children, 3 of them, live with their father, and you see them alternate weekends and after school?
Yes.
And how old is the 4th child?
He'll be 17 in July.
And who does he live with?
Me.
Full time?
Yes.
450 times 3 is 1350. Your mother doesn't pay the rent. You have 4 children. You're old enough to have 4 children. You're old enough to pay your own rent. 1350. Did you pay a direct utility bill?
No, I did, but I couldn't find it, the receipt for it, because it was so long going in her name, so.
Can't help you.
Yeah, I figured, yeah.
1350.
Okay, Your Honor, that's for the utilities and the rent?
No, that's just for 3 months' rent.
Okay.
And you don't have any utility bills?
No.
She acknowledges that you paid 3 months of her rent. You don't have to do that.
Okay.
You want to buy cell phones for people, laptops for your grandchildren? You can do that if you want to. I'm not interested in that. That's your problem. Judgment for the plaintiff for the amount of $1350. We're finished.
Your Honor, what about the additional loan that she loaned her at the
Did you understand what I said?
Yes,
I do.
$1350, which is to pay your own rent. We're done.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'm hoping me and my daughter can start repairing our relationship from here because I love her very much.
Like my mom said, I just want to move forward.
I'm not going to be rule-free loaning money, but...
But I just hope that we can now move forward and better ourselves.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Berger versus Berger, step forward.
Kristen Berger is suing her father, Joe Berger, for her wages being garnished after he failed to pay a court judgment on a vehicle.
Miss Berger, the defendant is your father, and it is your claim that when you were 19, your father bought you a car. He didn't pay it off. I assume that from the case, you and your father were both named on the loan for the car.
Correct.
And it's now years later. How old are you now?
27.
And you've gone on, you've finished college. This car was bought when you were in college. Gone on, finished your degrees, working, own a house, put some money in the bank, and all of a sudden, huge chunk of money was taken out of your bank, over $8,000, and it was for a judgment that had accrued as a result of the car not being paid off. Is your claim that your father purchased the car for you, and it was his responsibility to pay for the car? Your father says that wasn't the deal. He put down the down payment. You were supposed to pay for the car.
Judge Judy continues in a...
It was leaking in her driveway, oil and things. She wanted it removed, so we put it in my aunt's backyard.
And where is it now?
It's still there.
7 years? She must have a big backyard.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Christine Berger says her father, Joe Berger, failed to pay a court judgment, which resulted in her wages being garnished.
Okay, how many children do you have, Mr. Berger?
I have 2.
How old are they?
My son is, what, 30-something?
What does he do?
33, I think.
What does he do?
He's a security officer.
Where does he live?
He lives in Maryland.
Do you have children?
Yes, he does.
How many?
5.
And your daughter's 27. She finished school. She got a master's.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
She owns her own home. So with regard to her education, she did pretty well.
I'm proud of my daughter.
When she was 19 and she came home for the summer, your wife is not her mother. You and your wife have been married a long time, but that's her stepmother. Who went shopping for the car?
Me and my wife did.
And who found the car?
We both did. We found the car and we actually...
You and your wife?
Yes, me and my wife. And we actually took a picture of it, sent it to my daughter, let her see if she liked it or whatever, and she agreed, and we proceeded from there.
And you put down, the car was...
Yes.
And you put down the down payment?
Yes.
And so we're talking about 8 years ago.
Long time, yes.
But the car didn't run well.
No, it didn't.
And you tried to return the car.
Yes, I did.
What happened when you tried to return the car?
They told me that they couldn't give me my money back and that, it'd be a default. I said, okay, that's fine. I said, I don't need the money back. I just want to give you the car back because definitely don't want a car that's not running right. You refuse to fix it. So just take the car back, I'll take my loss and cut my losses and be good with it. And they said, no, we don't want that. They refused to do it.
So what did you do?
I just in turn, at that time, I believe...
So what did you do with the car, Mr. Berger? Now, your daughter comes home from college. She can't use the car because the car's not running. It's constantly giving her trouble. As a good parent, you say, I'm not letting my daughter ride around in this car. You try to take it back to the dealer. The dealer said, listen, it's a used car. You bought it as is. We're not taking it back. Yeah. That's 8 years ago. So what did you do with the car?
I didn't do anything with the car. My daughter actually had the car for, I think it was basically a whole semester. She drove it.
A semester.
Yeah.
I know, but then she came home for the summer and you tried to return it.
Yes, I didn't do anything with the car. At that point in time, it was, as far as I know, was parked in her auntie's backyard after that time.
Who parked it in her aunt's backyard?
I guess she did. I really don't know.
Who parked it in your aunt?
By my godfather. It was towed to my mother's house, and from there, his ex-wife was given the vehicle to drive while I went back to school, and it broke down on her, and we had to go and tow it from her house, and we then got it towed back to my mother's house, and later on, it was leaking in her driveway, oil and things. She wanted it removed, so we put it in my aunt's backyard.
And where is it now?
It's still there. 7
years?
Yes.
She must have a big backyard.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When did you get a lawyer?
The 23rd.
Is he attempting to negotiate this loan for you?
Yes, he's been attempting to negotiate the loan.
Right. So you don't know how much eventually you're going to have to pay on it.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Christine Berger says her father, Joe Berger, failed to pay a court judgment, which resulted in her wages being garnished.
Now, who has the title to the car?
I do.
Can I see it?
Yes.
Mr. Berger, did you give your former wife the car to drive around for a while?
Yes, she drove it probably a month.
I don't care. But she drove it a month. Your daughter had gone. Your ex-wife drove it for 1 month before it broke down?
It was still running, Your Honor, at the time.
So how did it get to her mother's house?
That's where it was parked.
Well, I know it was parked there, but
Yes,
your ex-wife was using it.
She used it for about a month until she got her vehicle.
My question to you is, how did the car get to your daughter's mother's house? Was it driven there?
It was driven there. It was parked there, yes.
Parking and driving it are two different things. Was it driven there or was it towed there?
It was driven there.
By whom?
My ex-wife drove it and parked it there.
Is that correct?
No, it's not. We had to call Geico. That's who I was insured by at the time, and they came to tow the vehicle.
Well, this is the registration. You don't have the title.
No, ma'am. It's a lien on it. They said once, all my monies and everything were processed, that I would receive the title from the lien.
Well, they got your money, according to you.
They did. I have a statement from the bank.
When did they take the money out?
It was on hold April 22nd. By May 6th, they had to respond to them, letting them know how much money I actually had.
Well, how much money do you actually owe?
It's the full $8,400.
Well, that's interest. Did you try to negotiate that amount of judgment with them?
Yes, I did get a lawyer.
Yes, you did. When did you get a lawyer? His name?
Craig. I have a copy of my retainer as well.
Is Mr. attempting to negotiate this loan for you?
Yes, he's been attempting to negotiate a loan.
Right. So you don't know how much eventually you're going to have to pay on it?
Yes, the settlement is open. We're going to sign the papers once I return home. They settled for $5,000.
I want to see that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, so you don't know how much eventually you're going to have to pay on it?
They settled for $5,000.
I want to see that.
Okay.
Where is it?
On my phone, an email from him, from my lawyer.
I'd like to see it.
It's forwarded from their lawyer to mine.
Okay, so it looks as if for $5,000 you're settling what is owed on the car.
Yes.
Between you and your father, that's $2,500 apiece. And how much is the lawyer getting paid?
I had to give him $1,000.
That means, sir, you're stuck with $3,000. $2,500 for your half of the loan and $500 for the lawyer who negotiated it down. Judgment for Q.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Oh, by the way, that check gets made payable to the credit union. We're done.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
It is what it is. I mean, nothing I can do about it.
It's been extremely frustrating.
I don't think I owe anything on the vehicle. I mean, I paid what I could pay on it.
It's upsetting that I even had to get to this point.
I hope we can move forward for this. I love my daughter to death. There's nothing's going to change with that.
It's time for me to take care of myself and get my bills taken care of.
You were going across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lanes of traffic.
Yes.
A wheelchair on the road went unnoticed.
Did you see her?
No.
There's no question that you hit her.
We collided, yes.
No, you hit her.
But the judge can grab her attention.
Your Honor, she should not have even been driving. She had no insurance.
That's interesting.
Is that true?
Hey!
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Jessica Edwards is suing motorist Jessica Jacobson for hitting her while she was crossing the road in her wheelchair.
It's case number 20 on the calendar in the matter of Edwards versus Jacobson.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Your party's been sworn in. You may be seated.
Miss Edwards, Miss Jacobson hit you when you were riding in your mobility scooter as you were crossing the street.
Correct.
There's no question that you hit her. Is that correct?
Yes, we collided, Your Honor. Yes.
What?
We collided, yes.
No, you hit her.
Matter of
And
opinion.
the issue is whether or not Miss Jacobson was negligent and is responsible for whatever injuries you had, which was actually the loss of your mobility scooter. You say that that was severely damaged. You weren't, fortunately, severely injured.
No, I had road rash on left leg, losing 2 layers of skin.
But fortunately, you weren't seriously injured.
No.
Okay. I'm looking at that diagram, and in between the two yellow lines, is that a turn lane?
It's both for pulling off in case you break down and a turn lane.
But it's not a driving lane.
No.
And you were in that turning lane, Miss Jacobson, because you were turning into that driveway.
Yes, I was, Your Honor.
That's where you live?
No, I live behind it.
Okay, you were visiting someone there?
No, I was turning around to my apartment because I'd forgotten something I had to get back.
Okay, so you were going to make a U-turn?
No, not a U-turn. I was safe making a U-turn on that thoroughfare.
Okay, you weren't going in. You had forgotten something, so you were going home?
Yes, which is westbound of that traffic fire.
It's okay. Tell me what you forgot at home.
Well, I left an associate at my door, and I realized I had an appointment that he might need the materials needed to work on a project in my garage. So I went back because I saw somebody pulling in as I left my apartment, which is west of those.
So you realized that you had to get home, and it was sort of an emergency that you had to get home.
Not at all, no.
Okay. I want you to go over to that because it's easier for you than it is for Miss Edwards to maneuver.
Okay.
You were turning into which driveway so that we're clear?
This is the 820 apartment complex?
That's Miss Edwards' apartment complex.
Correct.
Correct?
Yes.
And you were going home?
Correct.
Yes. And
Where
did I come from?
No, no, no.
Oh.
I know where you were coming from, and I know that you were either going to go into the complex and make a left-hand turn into the complex and go around and come out, or if there was no traffic coming from the other side, you were going to make a U-turn. There's no question in my mind that those were the two options. I don't know which one it was because I'm not in your mind. If it were me, if there was nobody coming from the other way, and if my car could clear it, I would have made the U-turn, right? Right. Now, there were cars coming from the other way.
May I give
Maybe.
you an aerial?
No,
No?
I don't
Okay.
want you to give me anything.
Okay.
Now, you're in your mobility scooter, and I assume, Miss Edwards, where there is a brake. Bird, would you go over to that drawing? Do you see where there is a break in the bottom that looks as if it's a path? Yes. Is that where you entered the street? So you entered there because there's a cut in the driveway?
It's a driveway that I came out of.
Just a second. It's a driveway.
Correct.
When you say it's a driveway, are there houses there?
From an apartment complex in back of the bus stop.
Okay.
And it's solid curb in front of the bus stop, so to get out, you have to go down the sidewalk to the driveway.
It's not designed to be handicap accessible. That's not why it's there. It's a driveway. Can cars go in there?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a driveway. It's not designed for you.
Correct.
And you were actually traveling diagonally in order to get into your driveway.
There's about a 5-degree diagonal.
Whatever it is, this is your diagram.
Yes.
You were traveling at a diagonal, which means you were going across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lanes of traffic in a diagonal.
Yes. The nearest crosswalk is more than a half mile down the street.
Where were you coming?
Groceries at the grocery store, and had just gotten off the bus at where that light blue square is down at the bottom.
Okay, now, you're traveling, and you know that you are not, thank you, Bert, you know that you're not at a legitimate crosswalk.
Correct.
So you have to exercise far more care since you're not.
And I did.
Well, evidently not, but let's see whether you did or whether you didn't. So you're traveling diagonally. You can go back. Okay. When, for the first time, Miss Edwards, did you see the defendant's car?
I never saw it.
Well, you were facing in the direction
of the driveway.
Of the driveway. And she's coming from your left, correct?
Correct.
Where was Miss Jacobson, where was the damage to your car?
What little there was may have been to the front bumper of the passenger side. I never looked to ascertain that. But there's one discrepancy, Your Honor. May I point it out?
There's what?
A discrepancy with her drawing.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. The aerial is it's non-biased. It will.
Hold on just a second.
Okay, here we've got, this is a bus terminal stop where there's people that, there's no driveway here. The driveway's another 45 feet probably west of this. She's coming from out of Park View. If she came out of this bus terminal or bus stop where they let her off, then she did come across the 2 lanes B point.
Just a second.
So
step back.
Okay.
Step back.
Okay.
Right there. See, sometimes you really have to keep quiet.
I'm sorry, I need to go this way.
Where you are, as you were.
Okay. There's a distance issue, though.
Miss Jacobson, see, sometimes you just have to listen and say, where is this fact finder? Because I'm the fact finder going. You just described to me what Miss Edwards did, that she got out of the bus and she was going across 3 lanes of traffic. Well, that would presuppose that you saw her. Well, then you can't tell me what she did.
No, she just said.
No, you're guessing what she did.
She just said
no,
what she did.
I know what she said. I have ears. You don't have to repeat to me what she said. I'm of sound mind. That's why they still keep me here.
But there's no no driveway there. It's only a sidewalk.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
You can't tell me what you think happened unless you saw her.
Right, exactly.
Did you see her?
Not at all. Not until she was right in front of the headlight of my passenger vehicle.
So you have 2 defenses to this. You have the defense that the scooter shouldn't have been there.
Yes.
And your second defense is that your car is too high, so you didn't see her.
Yeah.
Do you have another defense?
I do, Your Honor.
What's the other defense?
Well, like I'm saying, there's a distance issue with where she's got this diagram. First of all, the bus terminal.
Listen to me.
Okay.
She has to exercise.
Exactly.
You, who are driving a vehicle, have to look where they're going. And if I saw someone in a wheelchair crossing the street, if I was paying attention to what I was doing, I wouldn't hit them with the front bumper of my car if I was paying attention. She didn't scoot into the front end of your bumper.
That's not what happened. What I was trying to get at is that we merged at a V point where the collision was.
That's impossible. It's impossible that you merged at a V point. If you merged at a V point, you would have to be coming from the opposite direction.
No, we're both traveling the same direction.
No, you weren't going in the same direction.
Yes, we were, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
But listen to me. If you merge at a V point, Miss Jacobson, you would have to be coming from the lower right-hand corner of that picture if you merge at a V point. If you're going in the same direction because she's turning and you are, you're not at a V point. Either she hit you on the side of your car or you hit her with the front of your car. And you hit her with the front of your car.
No, I did not.
Your Honor, she should not have even been driving. She had no insurance.
Just a second. That's interesting.
That's not true.
Hey! Were you driving your car without insurance?
No, ma'am, I was not. Not ever once.
Just a second. Interesting. I'm going to take a break of this incident, which was March 12th. You had insurance on your car. I'll wait here. Go.
Good luck. I might have it. I might not. I'll be right
No,
back.
just a second. If you don't have it,
I know.
then you didn't have it.
I have
If you can't produce it for me in 5 minutes, that means that you don't have insurance. Do you understand?
Oh, yeah.
Don't waste my time. Because that really will irritate me if you waste my time.
I understand.
Did you have a paid-up policy of liability insurance on your car on March 12th?
Without any uncertainty whatsoever, yes.
Go and show me proof.
I have a copy
Just
of
a second.
police report.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Are you telling me that the police department has it in for you for some reason, Ms. Jacobson?
yeah.
Are you telling me the entire police department has
Not
it
the
in for some
entire.
old lady? And the district attorney?
No.
Has it in for you
No, I have a
for some
detective.
unknown reason?
And later today,
He gave you back $5,000. So far, you're $500 ahead of the game, okay? Do you understand where I'm going?
No.
You don't?
No, because I
Yeah,
paid him much more than
the
that.
smile that you have on your face suggests to me that you know exactly where I'm going.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jessica Edwards says, ran into her while she was crossing the road in her wheelchair.
Okay, Ms. Jacobson, I'd like to see what you have. Okay, this says that the effective date of this policy when it was issued was September 16th, 2018, and it's good until March 16th, 2019. So this is an insurance identification card, which means that if Miss Jacobson paid her insurance premiums, then she would have had liability insurance. You say she has no insurance.
I have a copy of the police report.
You had no insurance.
Yes, I did, Your Honor. That police report is nullified because I have insurance that doesn't mention the police officer that hit me 2 months prior to that either. My insurance company was not correct in their findings. When they reported that day, It was not. I have a $542
Just a second.
check.
This is the narrative. Unified Police Department. It says, Jessica Jacobson was found to be the driver of the vehicle without insurance. I called Insurite and confirmed that there was no insurance. Jessica said that there was no insurance, taxed and impounded for no insurance. Was your car impounded? Was your car impounded?
Yes, it was, but I never made one call.
Just a second.
I never
The question is, was your car impounded?
Yes, wrongfully. It's still sitting there waiting for litigation against the Salt Lake Unified Police Department.
When did you get your car out of impound?
I have not yet. Like I said, it's still sitting there. That's part of the problems I've had because the Salt Lake Unified Police Department...
You're not supposed to be driving.
You're
not supposed to be
Your Honor,
driving.
I was completely insured at that moment in time, and I'm not going to go on anything less. That is the absolute fact, and I'm not going to say anything more. I mean, you're going to go off hearsay that is incorrect.
No. This is a business record.
It's not a business record.
No, hey, listen to me. Do you have a lot to do with courts?
No, but I know what I've been through.
Just a second. You have a lot to do with courts. I know that you have troubles. Believe me, I've been in this business a very long time, so I know that you have troubles. Because I know that you have troubles. Just because you have an insurance card that says that you had an effective policy on a certain date, if you don't pay the premiums on that policy, that means that the policy lapses, expired. The police officer, and this is a business record, it comes in, it's not hearsay, it comes under a business record rule, says that you acknowledged to the police officer at the scene. This happened March 12th. We're now in May. If you had insurance, you would have gotten your car back. There was probably more to it, a lot more.
A lot more.
A lot more that I don't have to get into right now. Right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
You can prove to me that you paid him $4,500.
No, I can show you that I paid him the $10,000.
No, I don't care about the receipt that you are going to show me. That doesn't fly with me. Do you understand?
Yes.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jessica Edwards says motorist Jessica Jacobson ran into her while she was crossing the road in her wheelchair.
Now, there's a reason that for the last 3 months you don't have your car if you had insurance and you had no other troubles. So you weren't supposed to be behind the wheel of a car.
That's not true. That's not true whatsoever.
My God.
I promise you that is not true. I can show you, if you want to go in and call a West Jordan agent with Geico, he'll tell you I haven't made payments every month, and there's also a huge escalation in payments.
You mean the police department? Are you telling me that the police department has it in for you for some reason? Ms. Jacobs' department has it in for some old lady? Is that what you're saying to me?
Not the entire officer hit me on January 10th at noon, and he did not claim it, and he did not own it, and he didn't report it to police.
All I'm asking you is, now is what you're saying to me that the entire police department and the district attorney has it in for you
I have a detective.
for some unknown reason.
I have a detective that runs me on errands all week.
We both know that you have a problem.
No, we don't.
Yeah, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000 with
okay, well,
goodbye.
Good luck.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. May step out.
She did hit me. She claims she didn't see me.
3 officers stayed with me when I went across the street to park and watched the whole incident take place.
My wheelchair spun.
And then the paramedics and others came with her.
And threw me into the lane she had been driving from.
Yes, one was cited to me for non-insurance, and that's what we're fighting in court right now.
And so I was straddling the median and her lane.
I don't know. I'm not ready to be done with it, but I don't think it was a fair hearing.
I inched across to get out of the lane so I wouldn't be a worse case scenario.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Elliott versus Martin. Step forward.
Gregory Alex Elliott is suing Adolfo Rudy Martin for defrauding him regarding luxury suites at a UFC fight.
Mr. Elliott, you purchased suites of rooms for a sporting event from Mr. Martin. Who does that as a business? How much did you pay him for this block of space at a sporting event?
$13,500.
And you have a check for that?
I don't have a check, but I have invoices to show that I paid him, and I got receipts from it as well.
How did you pay him?
I paid him through PayPal and through a separate transaction with cash of $6,000.
That doesn't fly with me. How much did you pay him that you can prove to me that you paid him by PayPal?
So through PayPal, I could show that I paid him $4,500.
$4,500 is what you can prove to me that you paid him.
Yes, and I could also prove that I gave him $6,000 because he gave me a receipt for it as well.
I don't care about the $6,000. Let's understand this.
Okay.
You can prove to me that you paid him $4,500.
No, I can show you that I paid him the $10,000.
No, I don't care about the receipt that you are going to show me. Do you understand?
Yes.
Perfect.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Yeah, Mr. Martin gave you back how much money? You were bogus. So your people that you sold space to so they could go into the suites, they couldn't use the suites because...
He never had access to them in the first place.
Right, and he says he got scammed too. So you say you really out much more money because you sold these suites to people and you had to make good on what you sold them because they couldn't go. How many people did you sell the suites to?
I sold one.
One. To whom?
His name was Daniel, a friend of Rudy's.
For how much?
$2,500.
And Daniel couldn't go.
No, he cannot.
Did you pay Daniel back his money?
I did pay him back $2,500.
Do you have proof of that?
The proof?
No, so far you're ahead of the game. All you can prove to me is that you gave him $4,500 through PayPal. He gave you back, according to you, $5,000. So far you're $500 ahead of the game, which is no lawsuit to me. Okay? Do you understand where I'm going?
No.
You don't?
No, because I paid him much more than that.
The smile that you have on your face suggests to me that you know exactly where I'm going. Now, so far, the only thing that I know or that you can prove to me is that you paid him $4,500 for suites that you couldn't use. You don't have any papers in front of you, sir, which suggests to me that you have no evidence.
No.
So the only evidence, $4,500 through PayPal.
Correct.
And he wants me to believe that he gave you the rest in cash, for which you gave him a receipt, right?
Right.
Yeah, you're done. Where do you come from?
Boise, Idaho.
Okay. Maybe some small claim judge in Boise, Idaho will believe your shtick. I do not. So this is what I'm going to do for you. This is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to dismiss your case without prejudice, so you can go back to small claims court in Boise, and maybe a judge in Boise will believe you. I don't. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
My argument was it was an investment, and investments aren't guaranteed.
I was scammed out of $13,500.
I was also scammed out of money as well.
The CenturyLink suite director emailed me and said they never sold suites to Rudy Martin.
About $8,000.
If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
So you don't think that 15 dogs are enough?
A wannabe dog breeder adds another to her pack.
She said she wanted a female to breed.
Correct.
There's no question that you did not pay for the dog.
And a conflict was born.
No, Your Honor, I don't want her to keep the dog. No.
A month after, you got another puppy. You live in a trailer with 2
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Dog breeder Celeste Ranger is suing former client, 25-year-old Leslie Eberline, for the return of her dog, the pick of a litter, attorney fees, and slander.
Order. All rise. That's case number 114 on the calendar in the matter of Ranger versus Eberline.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat.
Miss Eberline, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
This is a breach of contract case. The plaintiff says that you breached a contract to purchase a puppy for money from her and give her the pick of litter from the first litter that puppy had. And the puppy was a Pomeranian, if I'm not mistaken. So I have a few questions for you because there's no question that you did not pay for the dog. And there is also no question from your answer that it is your intention to keep the dog. You said she's become part of your family and that you intend to have her spayed, which would not permit you to fulfill the second part of the contract. Now, your defense is that the plaintiff's running a puppy mill, and so let's get to you. Who do you live with?
My fiance and my 2 children.
How old are your children?
7 and 3.
How many dogs do you have?
I have 3 Pomeranians.
And what else?
We have beagles.
I want you to tell me how many dogs you have. No.
I have about 12 beagles, Your Honor.
Don't.
That's not true.
Just a minute. Don't
not true.
speak unless I ask you. You live with your fiance and 2 children, 7 and 3. 3 Pomeranians. What else?
Beagles.
How many?
12.
That's not true, Your Honor.
I don't want to hear from you. Please, let me do my job. 12 beagles. And tell me what size house you have.
A trailer.
You live in a trailer.
Yes.
And where do these 15 dogs live?
The 3 Pomeranians live in my house, and they're able to go outside. We have 17 acres.
The 3 Poms live in your house, and the 12 beagles live where?
We have a large pole barn. I'm not sure of the dimensions of it, but they run in and outside.
Okay, and I would assume that unless you are somehow psychiatrically infirm, the 12 beagles that you have, you sometimes...
I sell beagles?
Does
No.
your fiancé sometimes sell beagles?
Yes.
Yes. And how many of the 12 beagles are puppies?
3.
That's not true.
Miss Ranger, don't annoy me. So we're dealing with, at best, a story of the pot calling the kettle black. You ever hear that expression?
Yes.
Yes. So you're complaining that the conditions that the plaintiff's animals live in, and you don't know this because you never saw it.
Right.
She runs a puppy mill. Now, what does your fiancé do for a living?
He does drywall, carpentry.
Drywall. You don't have any degrees in genetics, do you?
No.
Did you ever take biology classes in college?
No, Your Honor. I grew
No.
up on a farm.
No. So you breed dogs, and one of the reasons that you wanted a female dog from Miss Ranger is that you had a male Pomeranian who was 6 months old that you wanted to breed. So you don't think that 15 dogs are enough, along with a 3-year-old. You wanted to have a litter of Pomeranians. Had you ever had a litter of Pomeranians?
No, Your Honor.
No. Now, when you got your Pomeranians, from whom did you get them?
My original one?
Let's talk about all 3.
Okay. A friend.
A friend. Don't ask me. That's not a question.
I'm not asking you.
Okay. And when did you get the first one from your friend Lottie?
September 2018.
And is that a male or a female?
He's a male.
And did you pay for him?
Yes, I did.
How much?
$650.
Who did you get the second one from?
Celeste.
Who did you get the third one from?
I found her on a Craigslist.
And? A female?
A female, yes.
What was the name of the person from whom you bought her? Name of the person from whom you bought her.
Mary.
No, I'm going to call the person. Do you understand? So don't give me the business.
No, Your Honor.
You're a hustler.
Her name. No.
You're a hustler. Hustler.
No.
When did you get the dog from Mary?
March 2019.
Is that a question or is that an answer?
It's an answer.
Good, then don't put a question mark at the end of the sentence.
Okay.
So you got that dog in March.
Yes.
How old is that dog? That's not a hard question.
4 months old.
Female.
Yes.
Now I know who you are. That makes my job much easier in this process. You understand?
Okay.
You thought this was going to be easier? It's not easier. It gets harder because I should ascribe in your answer to the plaintiff who was running what you say must be a puppy mill because the dog that you got from her was frightened, etc. So far, I don't know how many animals she had, but I know that your fiancé does drywall. You live in a trailer with 2 young children. One of them was 3 years old, and you've got 15 dogs, all of whom you either plan or have bred to sell for money. Neither of you, I assume, has any degree in chemistry, biology, genetics, none.
Your Honor, can I speak?
Yes. I'm dying to hear you.
I don't have a degree in biology or breeding or whatever, but I interact with my beagles, and I don't breed them for profit.
You mean you give them away?
Some.
Sit down. You know, if something doesn't make sense, once you get to be my age, historically, it doesn't make sense. For instance, Pomeranians are little dogs. Little children, not meaning to hurt little dogs, will pick them up, drop them, put them on a chair. Now, your 3 Pomeranians live in a confined quarter with a 3-year-old, and you plan on reading that to me, put your hand down, isn't smart. Now, we're going to leave you. I assume one thing, that you do not have any 3-year-olds living with you.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, you breed Pomeranians?
I have bred Pomeranians for the last 3 years as I had left.
You bred them for the last 3 years?
That's correct.
How many do you have?
I own 6.
When you sell your Pomeranian puppies, how much do you generally charge for them?
I charge $800 for the male and anywhere from $900 to $1,200 for the female.
Now, where did you get your 6 Pomeranians from?
I bought them from different states throughout the United States, as I wanted them to make sure that even though they are all papered, that they would come from a different state far away so that their genetics would be not
Did you check,
family.
Have any of the Pomeranians that you sell, because selling them from $900 to $1,200 is a substantial fee. Do any of them have champion bloodlines?
Yes, they do.
Some do.
They do.
Okay.
They all are.
Now,
they are all papered or AKC or CKC.
A lot of animals can be AKC.
But they are from champion bloodlines.
Eventually, yes, somewhere down the line. Okay, and how many litters have you had?
Approximately in 3 years, I only had my pets. So I've had approximately in 3 years, probably about 6 or 7 litters.
And how many are there in a litter?
It can be from 1 to 4, typically.
Okay. Now, your lawsuit says that you and the defendant entered into a contract.
Yes.
And the contract provided, when she called you for a puppy, you got her name from a website?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And at that time, according to your complaint, you didn't have any very young puppies.
No, I did have young puppies, but they were only male, and she was looking for female.
And she said she wanted a female to breed.
Correct.
Curiosity, did you ask her whether she had any experience breeding?
No, but she had brought up that her boyfriend had beagles and that he had bred beagles before.
Okay, so they had some experience with breeding dogs.
I guess so.
But she wanted this female to breed.
Yes.
You had a female.
Yes.
That was 18 months old.
Approximately, a little older.
She's lying, Your Honor.
That's not true. Her birthday's April. Her birthday's April.
When did you buy the puppy, Miss Eveline? Month.
January 30th.
That's not true. She got her on the 3rd of February.
What difference? It doesn't make any difference. Please don't fight with each other. It's not particularly germane. And you have papers for that dog?
I do.
And on what date was the puppy born?
April 18th or somewhere in the teens of April of...
Old.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And according to you, since you usually sell your females for breeding purposes, which most people who breed dogs do, sell them for more.
That's correct.
I know that from my own dealings with people who breed dogs. I tried it only once myself, and I realized it was not the right...
It's
not a sport.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
And not necessarily everyone is as cooperative as they promise that they will be.
That's correct.
I mean, in your house. So, according to you, you made an agreement with Miss Ebeline for $600.
Yes.
And pick of litter.
Female pick of the litter because they sell for more.
Did you have anything in writing with her?
I did.
May I see it?
Actually, it was over the Facebook instant message that she agreed.
Can I see it?
Yes. Right here, this 3rd page. This is the initial contact, and then it just goes on a couple text messages through instant message, and she agreed.
I can read. Okay, so you bought the puppy, you agreed to her asking price of $600 and a female puppy pick of litter. That was your contract?
No, Your Honor.
Well, show me something different. I'm reading the text messages with photographs back and forth. Different agreement, I'm willing to look at it.
Okay, thank you.
What are you telling me?
What am I telling you with that?
Yeah, what are you showing me with that?
I'm showing you that we talked on the phone after the original asking price. So let's say you buy a car, it's marked at this amount. Well, we talked on the phone.
Just a second. So you're telling me you negotiated with her?
Exactly.
And what did you negotiate with her?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I don't have a problem giving Miss Ranger a puppy.
No. You can't give her a puppy from a spayed dog.
I'm not going to spay her until Celeste gets what she...
Oh, no, I don't trust you as far as I can throw you.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Dog breeder Celeste Ranger says former client Leslie Eberline stole her dog. Leslie's countersuing for attorney fees, lost wages, vet bills, and harassment.
So you're telling me you negotiated with her?
Exactly.
And what did you negotiate with her?
She said it would help her out if I took Jules. She had too many dogs to take care of, too many puppies. She lived in Michigan because she was taking care of her sick Arizona. She said she would help me out by getting me into breeding, and she could teach me things and help me.
Listen.
Yeah.
Listen to me carefully.
Okay.
You breached the contract. Whether I believe you, which I don't, or not, you breached at least one term of the contract. You said you can have, according to your evidence, which is only one page, and I have a correspondence from the two of you with the other. According to your, you agreed to give her pick of litter. And then you said you were going to have her spayed. That's what you wrote in your answer, right?
I would like
that's a breach. That's a breach of your contract.
I don't have a problem giving Miss Ranger a puppy.
No. You breached the contract. You can't give her a puppy from a spayed dog.
I'm not going to spay her until Celeste gets what she...
Oh, no, I don't trust you as far as I can throw you.
Okay.
With your Mary story and the other story, and the fact that, according to you, a month after you got the dog from her, that you say was traumatized, and you had to take an awful lot of time to get her involved in your family and acclimated to your family, within 4 weeks of that, you got another puppy.
Yes.
You got another puppy. You already had 15 dogs. And you got another puppy. So I don't trust you as far as situation is with breeding her animals. But if on your side I heard, we wanted a Pomeranian, I wanted a dog for my kids. I saw this dog online. I thought it was great. I took it. We fell in love with it. But that's not what you're saying at all. You want to become a dog breeder. You have no particular skills at that. Neither you nor your fiancé have any particular skills.
I thought I wanted to be a dog breeder. I do not. I was
You
going
mean
to try
since
it
March
out.
you changed your mind? And what did you
Yes,
get
Your
another
Honor.
female dog for?
For a pet, because my kids...
You already had 3 pets.
Do you want to see my pets?
No.
Okay.
I have no interest in seeing it. I know what a Pomeranian looks like.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
The other dog that you have is 80 pounds. You forgot about an 80-pound dog? I mean, are you telling me you just forgot about the 80-pound dog?
It doesn't have to do about my other dogs. This has to do about Jules.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Dog breeder Celeste Ranger has accused former client Leslie Eberline of stealing her female Pomeranian and costing her money in an attempt to get her back.
You breached the contract. The only question is, you want to keep the dog? Fine. Now, damages.
No, Your Honor, I don't want her to keep the dog. No, she told me that she had another Pomeranian. No, I don't want her to have the dog because I didn't know this when we made an agreement, but she had a dog 4 months before Jules came along, and she had a Pomeranian, and she has an 80-pound blue heeler that killed her Pomeranian, shook it while they were eating, killed her Pomeranian, and then she has another one that has birth defects.
What's a blue heeler?
We don't have a blue heeler, Your Honor.
Something other, some other breed of, I don't know, it's 80 pounds. I got text messages.
Yep. Did you have a blue heeler?
We do not have a blue heeler.
Did you?
I don't know what
Never.
it is.
We have a black mouth cur.
Okay, that's correct.
Well, just a second. What is that?
Old Yeller.
Okay, so that's a big dog. Okay, and that's in addition to the Pomeranians and the 12 Beagles.
Correct.
Yes.
Well, you left that one out. Did you forget about a big dog? You're looking
That's
at me.
my fiance's dog, and he had this dog. How long have you had this?
Don't ask him. I asked you, how many dogs do you live with your 2 children, 7 and 3, with your fiance, in the trailer where you live with your 2 children and your fiance. You have at least 3 Pomeranians. Now, you have 12 Beagles. That's you said it's his. They live in the barn. Beagles, they're small dogs. Maybe they're 30 pounds. The other dog that you have is a big dog. I mean, are you telling me you just forgot about the 80-pound dog?
It doesn't have to do about my other dogs. This has to do about Jules.
Your Honor, I didn't know about the big dog. I didn't know about the big dog killing the Pomeranian until the day after.
Listen to me. Miss Ranger.
Yes.
This is the problem.
Yes.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
I can do either one of two things. I can give you you live in the same state?
Yes. Right now,
I can give you
I do.
an order that you can take to a sheriff or marshal, directing that you go to her house and pick up the dog.
Okay.
I can do that.
Okay.
I don't know whether, I hope that would be successful, because I'm not sure about this group. That would resolve part of the case.
But, Your Honor, that's just not all.
Just a second. I can't do anything else but give you an order.
She slandered me on Facebook.
Listen.
She got me kicked right off for slandering me and telling me I run a puppy mill. And now my...
Listen to me. Or I can give you monetary damages. Do you understand?
Yes.
I can get you your dog back.
Yes.
And with an order for animal control to go out and evaluate the circumstances where these dogs are living.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Or I can entertain your case for money, for damages.
No.
You tell me what you want.
No money. No money for damage. No, I want the dog back because of what I've learned since the dog was transferred.
We will prepare those orders for you.
Okay. And can I seek damages for what I've paid for, like doing this for like months and months?
You've got your dog back.
I'm happy about that. Well,
you've got your dog back. We're done. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Because of what they're doing in their home with 30-plus beagles and the couple Pomeranians that one died, one's got birth defects, and she's planning on breeding with the dog that I had arranged with her. I had no clue about all this other stuff going on in her home. We had spoken on the phone, and it was a poor decision on my side. Well, I'm happy to be able to get Jules back, as she was in her health and her life, and it was in jeopardy, and I'm just happy that she'll be coming back home. Welcome home, Jules, and thank you very much, Judge Judy.
The relationship between us for the past year and a half has been very tumultuous.
There was no chance of patching things up.
She had sent me a text message telling me she's uneasy about getting back together with me.
You were angry.
Then, did he leave her deflated?
Do you have any proof that Mr. Condon slashed your tires?
I do not at this point.
This is the only point. This is my point.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Christine Morricone is suing her ex-boyfriend, Matthew Condon, for slashing her tires and disposing of 2 of her bicycles.
Order. All rise. It's case number 83 on the calendar in the matter of Morricone versus Condon.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Ms. Morricone, you and the defendant were in a relationship. That relationship terminated when?
Terminated on April, no, I'm going to say right after Christmas.
Well, right after Christmas also would be April, but
no,
it's kind of an odd way of saying it.
December 28th, no.
It is your claim that Mr. Condon slashed the tires on your car. That's one of your claims. On what date do you allege that happened?
On April 11th or 12th, early in the morning.
So that was some 3 months and some days after you broke up?
Yes, he was in... Yes,
that was
yes,
some
Your Honor.
3 months later. Now, you didn't see him slash your tires, so you must have some other proof that he slashed your tires, because Mr. Condon unequivocally denies it.
Okay. Well, the relationship between us for the past year and a half has been very tumultuous.
Listen to me. I don't care about any of that. That's not this. That's not this program. This is a fact-based court program.
Okay.
You allege somewhere between April 11th and April 12th that Mr. Condon slashed your tires. And it's not up to him to prove that he didn't do it. It's up to you to give me some evidence that he did do it. The fact that you had a tumultuous relationship with him for a year and a half is not it.
Okay.
Do you have any direct proof that Mr. Condon slashed your tires?
No, I do not at this point.
No, this is the only point. This is my point. This is the
Okay.
time that
No,
we-
I do not at this point. My case is the return of the bicycles that he has.
Drawing the allegation of the slashed tires.
Well, the slashed tires was not part of this whole allegation. This allegation was for the bicycles that he has stored and refuses to give back to me. That's what the allegation is. And that was after. And that was after he slashed the tires.
Just a second. You say in your complaint the very next morning after something happened, I woke up and my tires were slashed.
Right.
What do we talk about that for?
I don't know, Your Honor.
Okay.
You know,
well, you signed it. I didn't write it. Believe me, I didn't write it.
Okay.
Okay, so you stored 2 bicycles with him when?
In the fall of 2018, prior to him going to Florida for 3 months.
Give me the month.
November.
That's a question mark. Is it November?
November, Your Honor.
And the 2 of you broke up in December of 2018.
Correct.
Where was he storing your bicycles?
In his mother's commercial building, in the basement. He said to me... Yeah.
And they were stored in his mother's building when he left to Florida in November, and you were still a couple.
Yes.
Yes. And then you broke up December 28th. When did you make the first demand for the bicycles?
On April 25th. He came back from the top.
January, February, March, and up until April 25th, you had made no request for the bicycles?
No.
Okay. And tell me how you communicated the bicycle request to return the bicycles on April 25th.
Via email.
May I see it, please?
Yes.
Well, you say to him, I want to make arrangements to get the 2 bikes. And he says, you told me to get rid of everything. Everything is gone.
That's a lie. I am...
Are the bicycles in your...
No, they are not, Your Honor.
Okay. I'd like to know when you went to your mother's building to get them.
Can I start off with some of her facts?
No.
Well, I'm not going to be able to lay out my defense?
No. Listen, this is not some Supreme Court case.
No, I understand that, but this is our breakup date. You know, here it is in writing.
Pay careful attention. I have an email from her in April, an email from you saying you told me to get rid of everything, and I did.
Here's a complete police report on April 25th, ma'am, if you'd like to look at it.
No, I want you to answer my question.
This is evidence.
I'll look at it. I want you to answer my questions.
Well,
this is my plan.
I get that, Your Honor.
I asked you a very simple question. When did you remove the bikes from your mother's commercial basement?
April 12th.
At what time?
In the morning.
Did you take anything else out of the storage other than the bikes? Did you take anything?
This is all that I had.
Just a second. I'm speaking. Did you take anything else out of the storage? The answer is either a yes or a no. So you just removed the 2 bikes.
Right.
And you have a key to the storage.
Yes.
And tell me what you did with the bikes on April 11th.
I brought the bikes to my residency.
And that is in what state? That wasn't Florida.
New York State.
New York State. And from your home, what did you do with the bikes?
I chained them up in the yard.
Is that where they remain, or did they move?
They moved.
To where?
They moved approximately 2 weeks later. I went back to check on the bikes, and somebody had gotten to the bikes and tried to steal them. So I put the bikes in front of my yard with a free sign on it because I had not heard from Miss Marconi in over 2 weeks about these bikes.
Okay, so now I'm going to look at the police report. On what day did you come from Florida?
11th at 9 p.m.
So it was.
I have an email.
Just a second.
Oh.
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
Did you, on or immediately before April 11th, request that the plaintiff pick you up at the airport? That's a question. That requires a yes?
Yes.
Or a no?
Yes.
Okay. On what date did you ask, before you know where I'm going, your answer was yes. You asked her to pick you up from the airport, and you arrived home on April 11th from Florida. You landed at what airport?
Stewart International Airport, Newburgh, New York.
And what time, do you remember what time you arrived?
9 p.m.
So you have all that good information. That's
Oh, yeah.
a great thing. On what date had you communicated with the plaintiff to ask her if she would pick you up at the airport?
Ma'am, I don't remember what the date was.
Just a second. Just
Okay.
a second. Was it within the week?
It was in a 2-month period with which we were communicating on the phone.
Okay, so while you were communicating on the phone, listen, my question to you is, if you and the plaintiff had been sort of on the outs since the end of December and were communicating by phone, we all know when you come back, especially when you fly into Stewart, you don't have to make your reservation 2 months in advance. So my question to you is, on 4 days prior to your arriving, did you ask the plaintiff to pick you up at the airport?
I don't have an answer for that.
Okay.
But I do have this, you do have to look at this email.
I will absolutely do that. On what date did he ask you to pick him up at the airport?
We made arrangements probably, I'm going to say around December 1st.
Okay, may I see the email, please?
That's the breakup date, January 10th.
Fine, it doesn't matter. In the scheme of things, it doesn't matter. I'm just sort of interested, Mr. Condon, why on April 11th you found it, which was the day that you arrived,
Yeah.
why you found it necessary to go to storage and get the 2 bikes and chain them to the backyard.
Because, Your Honor, I told her, we had a phone conversation after she broke up with me in a text message and said she didn't want anything to do with me on the 11th in the morning, on April 11th in the morning, out of nowhere, after we've been talking for 2 months, she had sent me a text message telling me she's been thinking about things and she's uneasy about getting back together with me.
So?
Okay? But for the last, I picked up the phone and I called her and I said, I would like you to get your things tomorrow from my possession. Otherwise, I'm going to get rid of them. She said, I don't have anywhere to put them. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. Get rid of them. And that's
Then
what,
why-
so I
then
held
why-
the things
then
for
why-
another 2 weeks.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I
No.
held, this was the 12th, ma'am.
No.
I held
No,
the
you
things
didn't.
in my possession for 2
No,
more weeks.
No, you didn't. They weren't doing anything from the 11th to the 25th in your mother's basement that they hadn't been doing from November to April. You were angry. And that's why you went and got them. You were angry.
No,
You got in?
I did. I told her I didn't want anything to do with her anymore. I have emails to the effect.
Well, that's fine. Do you have an email from her saying, get rid of the bikes?
No, I don't.
Right. Timing is just too coincidental, sir. And the one thing that you get to know when you get old, and you're not there yet, of course, is that there are very few coincidences in life.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When did you buy these bikes? Show me the receipts.
I don't have the receipts.
If you don't have proof, you don't have anything. The bikes are worth 50 bucks a piece. That's it, unless you have a receipt.
And later today,
Is suing them for illegally locking you out of your house, on which you paid no rent.
Okay, it's still paying rent.
No, that's not you paying rent. That's me paying rent.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Christine Morricone says ex-boyfriend Matthew Condon slashed her tires and got rid of 2 of her bicycles. Matthew is countersuing for the return of his belongings.
Now, when did you buy these bikes?
One bike.
Show me the receipts.
I don't have the receipts. One of the bikes I bought off of eBay, a brand new bike from a woman. I met her at Paramus.
Listen, I don't believe. If you don't have proof, you don't have anything. The bikes are worth 50 bucks a piece. And he got rid of them, and he got rid of them maliciously. That's it. Unless you have a receipt.
I have
a receipt.
I have receipts of what it's going to cost me to replace them.
100 bucks. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you.
Excuse me, I got a counter plaintiff.
You got
I got a counter lawsuit on her.
Because you stayed over at the house a lot and she threw away some of your stuff?
Yes.
Goodbye.
Whoa, 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 Your Honor. One of these things are a medication worth $1,000.
What, the Viagra?
Okay, bodies are excused. You may step out.
He's vindictive, he's a liar, he's a thief.
She's constitutionally incapable of, so I can move on with my life and be done with her for good.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Hollingsworth versus Adams. Step forward.
James Hollingsworth is suing his estranged in-laws, Alvin and Judy Adams, for an illegal lockout, the return of property, and the return of his dog.
Mr. Hollingsworth, are you currently married to the defendant's daughter?
We're separated.
But you're married?
Yes.
And in what year were you married?
2006.
Do you have any children?
No.
In what year did you move in with your in-laws?
They moved in with us.
So it was your house?
No, it's their house, but their daughter lived there. They lived up the mountain.
In what year did you move into their house?
2004.
Were you working?
Off and on.
Were you paying the Adamses any rent?
Yes.
How much?
$400 plus maintenance.
$400 per month. And who paid the rent when you weren't working?
Welfare.
How long did welfare pay the rent?
I don't know. I don't know exactly how long. It's all been broken up from the time I worked at the...
You and your wife are currently separated.
Yes.
And your wife remains with her parents?
Yes.
And you're suing them for illegally locking you out of your house?
Yes.
On which you paid no rent?
I did pay rent.
Well, off and on when welfare didn't.
Okay, it's still paying rent.
No, that's not you.
Same
That's
thing.
Bird
Same
paying
thing.
rent. That's not you paying rent.
I don't see what that has to do with this now. They locked me out. I pay rent. They locked me out. They denied me my stuff. They kept my dog.
Just a second. When you live with your wife in her parents' house and you have a fight and separate from your wife,
I didn't
the
separate
chance-
from my wife.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
You just told me that you and your wife are separated.
Yeah, she filed separation paper after I moved out. After they locked me out, actually.
Mr. Hollingsworth, you're not getting money for locking you out of a house that's their house that you lived in for you, rent-free.
It wasn't rent-free.
Mr. Hollingsworth, let's move on now. Let's talk about your dog. The dog. In what year was the dog either purchased or rescued?
He was born 14 years ago from his mom that I own too.
To our dogs.
Shh, just a second. And so...
I have a text message right here from their daughter saying, we can't afford to feed your dog, bring me money. It's my dog.
Mr. Hollingsworth, when you are divorced from your wife, the judge in court will decide whose dog it is. Right now, if it's your dog and you have been together with her since 2004, married since 2006, the dog is marital property over which I have no jurisdiction. That will be
That's not
handled.
true.
That's the law.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I want to know what it is that you are asking for specifically back.
All my property.
That doesn't do anything for me.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
James Hollingsworth says his estranged in-laws, Alvin and Judy Adams, illegally locked him out and stole his property, including his dog.
Now, I'd like you to tell me the last thing in your complaint is your personal property. Now, that they can't take from you. When you left, what personal property, not marital property, personal property, did you leave in the house?
Everything. I didn't have anything. They locked the locks. I went home and they wouldn't let me in, and I have nothing. They kept my clothes and everything.
Mr. Adams, do you have any of Mr. Hollingsworth's clothes?
No,
Clothes. Do you know where his clothes are, sir?
He left. He came back the next morning. He got clothes. He come back the second day, packed up his clothes, and
That's
left.
not true. I have a police report saying that they
And-
said I left in January.
We never talked to police about that. And on the 29th,
Police report says you
or
did.
26th,
Don't speak.
On the 26th of February, was not allowed on my property unless he texts me, and he could come and get anything that he had left there.
He never texted me anything.
May I see that? Okay. Your wife's name is Lisa?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. On March the 9th, sorry to bother you, but Lisa's been putting me off all day. Do you remember texting him that?
Yes.
On March 9th? What was that about?
I'm trying to see my dog. And the police report right here says that they told the police that I left in January and that I took all my stuff with me. So which is it? Which is he not telling the truth about?
Okay. I want to know what it is that you are asking for specifically back.
All my property.
That doesn't do anything for me. You don't have any property that's yours.
Yes, I
If you've
do.
been married, listen to me, that's yours unless you tell me what it is. If you say to me, I have my birth certificate, my watch,
I
my
have
shoes.
a list of that stuff.
Other than those things, that comes under the auspices of a divorce with your wife, with whom you lived in this house for many years, according to you, when they didn't even live.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Okay.
I have a list of my personal property.
I'd like to see it. Then I'll ask item by item. Where are you living now, Mr. Hollingsworth?
Kind of bouncing between my coworker and a friend.
So they have your car?
They had my car. It's not there anymore. I drove by. It's not there.
It can't be your car. This is marital property, sir. It's something that a divorce court is going to take care of.
My name was on the pink slip.
Missing list of property.
That's all the property that I believe is mine that is not hers.
Okay.
Together. I didn't
Do
list
you
any
have-
property that's community.
Do you have either one of two suits, a Pierre Cardin suit and a Stafford suit,
No, ma'am.
and 12 pairs of black ankle socks? Do you have that?
No, ma'am.
They don't have it. They don't have it. I don't know whether your wife has it.
They
Did
do
you?
have it. They control the house. They told her not to give me anything. I have a text for that, too.
Mr. Hollingsworth, I suggest that you get a lawyer filed for divorce. A marital judge who hears your divorce will decide what of this property, if it exists, is marital property and what is your individual property, and the court will rule accordingly. Do you understand? That's not my job.
Whatever.
Bye.
Continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
They locked me out.
She did exactly what I thought would happen.
I want my dog back.
That dog is a family dog.
They can't afford to feed my dog, but nobody's going to give him to me.
We had the mother and father of the pup when it was born.
Yeah, there's time to get a lawyer.
I want him out of our life.
You paid Mr. Shaw $1,500 for a truck.
Her boyfriend broke his promise,
So what are you suing him for?
For stealing the truck after I paid for all of it.
but not before breaking his vows.
Me and my wife were separating. Me and the plaintiff were dealing with each other at the time.
Not dealing with each other. You were dating her at the time. I don't like you. Don't drink water now. I'm speaking.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Jessica Turner and her mother, Tammy, are suing Jessica's ex-boyfriend, James Shaw, for a truck, repair costs, and tow fees.
Order. All rise.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Judge parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat.
Miss Turner, this is your mom. Is that right?
Yes.
And she's only here because she loaned you some money to fix this truck. Is that right?
Yes.
You can have a seat. It is your claim that you paid Mr. Shaw, who was your sort of boyfriend at the time, $1,500 for a truck.
Yes.
To purchase. Then the truck broke down, and in order to have it fixed, your mom lent you another almost $1,000 to have it fixed.
Correct.
Then Mr. Shaw decided, according to you, to go back to his wife, and he took back the truck.
Yes.
So you want your money back. Now, Mr. Shaw, is this the wife?
Yes, Your Honor.
In whose name was this truck registered?
This was registered under Marion.
Who is that?
That's my father.
Where is he?
He's not here
Why was the truck registered in your father's name?
because this is my father's truck.
Had you been using your father's truck?
Yes.
Had you and your wife been using your father's truck?
Yes.
For how long?
For about 5 months.
Tell me the circumstances that you and your wife were using your father's truck for 5 months.
As of now, up to date, it's been 5 months. But prior to the situation, we weren't. Me and her were using the truck up until our separation.
You and the plaintiff were using the truck.
Yes, ma'am.
For how long?
A week at most. I was moving.
The truck with the plaintiff. Who was using the truck?
No one.
Where was it?
It was at his house.
So how did it come about that your father let you have the truck to use with the plaintiff for a week and then let you and your wife use the truck for 5 months?
During the process. Okay. During the process of the situation, me and my wife.
That's a whole lot of words.
Okay. Me and my wife were separating.
I got it.
Me and the plaintiff were dealing with each other at the time.
not dealing with each other. You were dating her at the time.
We were intimate, dealing with each other at the
Yes.
time. So I needed to use the truck because I have epilepsy. I cannot drive. So I asked her to drive because she has a valid license and the truck was going to be insured. So she assured me during our relationship that she was going to take care of the truck, and my dad gave her... Okay. You wanted to know.
Is what you're saying your father gave permission to the plaintiff to drive his truck? Just follow my question.
Yes, ma'am.
That your father, who I will call,
Okay.
gave permission to the plaintiff to drive the truck for about a week because you didn't have a driver's license. Is that what you're saying to me?
What I'm saying is you asked.
That's either... Just a minute.
No. To answer your question, no. That's not what I'm saying.
And I'm going to ask you again, Mr. Shaw, how did it come about that your father's car, since you couldn't drive, so the car had to be turned over to someone who could drive?
Exactly.
Who did that?
My father gave her permission.
But then the answer is your father gave her permission.
Not because I didn't have a license, because I'm medically inclined.
So your father gave her permission to drive his truck. What's your father's phone number? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
That your father personally gave the plaintiff permission to drive his truck?
You want the number? I'm going to give it to you.
No, that's what I'm asking you.
Yes.
Ms. Turner, is that correct?
No.
Did you ever have a personal conversation with the defendant's father?
When we went up there to buy the truck, yes.
When did you have a personal conversation with the defendant's father?
March 2nd.
Tell me the circumstances.
In person, we went up there so that I... James, my brother, and my brother's girlfriend, and I had gone up there so that I could purchase the vehicle.
Just a second. You, your brother...
Yes.
His girlfriend...
Yes.
And Mr. Shaw...
Yes.
Went to his father's house...
Yes, we...
And you spoke to his father?
Yes.
Tell me the circumstances surrounding you speaking to his father.
We were coming up there to buy the truck for $1,500.
You met his father there. Very, very easy.
Yes.
You met his father there. The truck, according to you, was under some snow and had to be dug out.
About 4 feet.
Just a second, and had to be dug out from under the snow. You spoke to the defendant's father. It was at the defendant's father's house, correct?
It was at his Aunt Dorothy's, from what I understand. We met his father at an apartment building somewhere else and followed him to the place in St. Paul where the truck was stored.
Okay, so you met his father at an apartment complex. His father said, follow me, I'll take you to where the truck is.
Yes.
So his father took you to where the truck was. And then?
They dug it out and got it started.
Who dug it out?
James and his father.
And then?
That ended up having a flat tire need to be fixed. He had called his brother to come help.
Did you call your brother?
I called my brother every day.
Good. Did you call your brother to come fix the flat tire on the truck?
No.
Your brother never came?
No.
I have messages between me and his brother where his brother witnessed me paying cash because his brother was there.
What's his brother's name?
Richard.
So his brother came and helped fix the tire, and then?
And then our bills and handed them to his father to count.
Handed them to his father?
Yep.
Yes.
Because I was under...
No. I don't care what you were under. You handed the $1,500 to his father.
Yes.
And?
Because I was buying the truck from them. His brother witnessed it. He took the money.
You handed the money to his father?
Yes.
So what are you suing him for?
For stealing the truck after I paid for all of it, since the truck is still with them.
No, Miss Turner, you're suing the wrong person. You should be suing his father.
Well, I'm suing the person who has the property.
No, you have to sue
because he has the property that is worth $2,700.
No, Miss Turner, you have to sue the person who you gave the $1,500 to, who didn't give you title to the car. He can't give you title to the car. He doesn't own the car.
Well, we have police records where we both take the truck to the police officers, and he tells them
Stop singing. Miss Turner, you have to stop singing. You have to talk. I'm telling you, if you paid $1,500 to his father has to give you the title to the car. You didn't get the title.
They gave me a receipt of sale.
Listen to me. I can't give you an order to go and mother isn't there. If his father was there, which you should actually have sued them, you could sue them both if you're not sure. I can order his father, because he got $1,500 to sign the title over to you, but I can't give you an order that you can take to a marshal and get a car from him that's in somebody else's name. Do you understand?
No.
Yes,
no.
Your Honor.
She don't.
Well, I've just explained it, and she does understand now. I can't give you an order to take to your local authorities that say, I have ruled in this binding arbitration that she is the rightful owner of this car. I can't do that because he's not the owner. He, of necessity, unless he stole the car from his father, must be operating the car with his father's permission. Now, his father really shouldn't give him permission if you gave his father $1,500 and if that was for the sale of the car.
Yes, and his father refused to come here.
Well, that's not my problem.
And I have all the
Just a
proofs
sec.
where I paid.
I can't help you if his father refused to come here. Did you serve him in small claims court?
Yes.
And?
And as far as I know, I never heard anything back, so I amended to take him off of it.
Well, then I can't help you. He is the proper defendant because he owns the car, and you understand that.
Okay, and he still stole it. I have all the receipts for that.
You have to sue his father.
Okay.
Because if you sue his father and a judge gives you an order that says it's your car, this is a stranger to that process, then you can execute on that judgment and go and get the car. But I can't give you the car because his father's not here. His father has a right to say, I never got $1,500 from her.
My father...
I didn't ask you anything.
I know.
I don't like you.
That's good.
I don't like you.
That's great.
Because if we're speaking morally, what you should do is if she, in fact, paid your father $1,500 for the truck or anything, if she paid him, then a moral person would say to his father, if he were a moral person, the right thing for you to do, Dad, is to sign the title over to Miss Turner because she paid for it. So I want you to understand, it's not that I don't believe that she paid. Don't drink water now, I'm speaking.
I'm listening.
Don't drink water now, I'm speaking.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What does an up mean? What does an up mean? Just a second.
Okay.
Is an up mean, and I want you to know, I'm really smart. The money.
And later today,
I'd like to see where this went, this transfer of $5,000.
Well, originally I transferred it to the checking account so that he could withdraw it and take it.
I want to see that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Maybe say it again.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jessica Turner says ex-boyfriend James Shaw is driving a truck she paid for. James is countersuing for destruction of property.
So the right and the moral thing to do, if you were a right and moral person, would be to say to your father, I'm giving her the truck, and you can go and sue her for the truck if you want.
Okay.
Or, Dad, do the right thing. Sign the title over to her because she paid for it. Not for you and your wife to drive around in it. What does an up mean? What does an up mean? Just a second.
Okay.
Is an up mean, and I want you to know, I'm really smart.
I know.
Are you telling me that she didn't give your father money?
I'm definitely telling you she didn't give my father money. What the means was I was embracing your feeling and passion in it because for me, I would have that passion as well if it was true. But unfortunately, it's not. And the water was because I was thirsty of listening to the...
I mean, she didn't give your father any money.
Nothing.
Fine. Show me proof that you paid $1,500. Tell me where you took the money out, or you took it out of the bank. Just show it to me.
There's a big statement where I took $2,700 out.
Here's the sheet of paper that he gave you.
That's the receipt of sale. They told me it was a bill of sale.
Bill of sale, but it's not.
The bill of sale of the forgery that she tried? The forging of the bill of sale. You might want to look at that, Your Honor. Who signs over a bill of sale with a purple
His
pen?
messages where he
Just a
states
second.
he did not play me about his dad's truck.
Hold it. What is this?
That's what they gave her, Your Honor.
Gloria? Who's Gloria?
That's my ex-mother-in-law.
Gloria is your ex-mother-in-law?
Yeah, my ex-mother-in-law.
So it's a prior wife?
Yeah.
Just tell me, on what date do you claim you gave him this money?
March 2nd.
Okay, why don't you go back and sue the right person? Got it?
Okay.
Thank you. We're done.
Your Honor, hold up.
And
no.
at the time she does that, then you can follow.
That's great.
And you can file your counterclaim. We're done. Goodbye.
I have a counterclaim,
I said to
actually.
you, did you just hear me? You
No.
put on your listening ears.
No.
I said to you when she files her complaint.
I want to sue her now for damage of property and burning my belongings.
Just a second. Did you understand what I said?
Yeah.
I'm dismissing this case, the entire case, without prejudice, for her to sue the appropriate person if you want to sue.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I knew he was married. They had restraining orders on each other and were legally separated.
It's my wife. Of course it's going to change. You know what I mean? Who's going to step out on 26 years?
And was working on a divorce, but obviously not.
She burned some of my stuff, at least, what, $1,100 worth of stuff.
He went back to his wife, and he wants the vehicle.
She didn't make it too far with this whole suing thing because, you know what I mean, it didn't work out for her.
See him in court.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Flores versus Long. Step forward.
Anthony and Andrea Flores are suing boat mechanic Michael Long for the return of a deposit, repairs, and property damage.
Mr. and Mrs. Flores, on what date did you bring a boat that needed repair to Mr. Long to repair?
I don't have the exact date. It was at the end of October.
The end of October of what year?
2017.
2017?
Yes.
And when you brought the boat to Mr. Long, according to you, you gave him $5,000 as a deposit to fix the boat.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to see proof of that. Rent this transfer of $5,000.
Well, originally I transferred it like internally to the checking account so that he could withdraw it and
Cash.
take it.
I took cash to Mr. Lang.
I want to see that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Maybe say it again.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Then you have another withdrawal transfer on October 24th.
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah?
Well, I mean, the other withdrawal could be, we took a loan out for the boat. So, I mean, it could have been just transferring it to savings, to checking.
Not happy.
I'm sorry.
Not happy.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Anthony and Andrea Flores are suing boat mechanic Michael Long for the return of a deposit, repairs, and property damage.
Right now, all I have is that a withdrawal customer on October 7th, not the end of October, but on October 7th, $5,000. And then on the 24th, I have transfer to share 0060, and that's all I have. I don't have anything else. And you didn't know Mr. Long. He was referred to you to do this work, is that correct?
Yes.
If you sent a check for $5,000 to Mr. Long, if you were giving him a deposit, because do you know why? Because I'm not crazy, and it doesn't look to me like you're crazy either.
No.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So, unless you can show me that you withdrew $5,000 in cash and that he deposited $5,000 in cash on or about the same day, we're done here. Do you understand?
I can show you the withdrawal. I can't show you what he did with it.
Show me the withdrawal.
All right.
And explain to me why you gave him cash instead of writing a check. Do that explanation for me.
I gave him cash because that's what he asked for.
A lot of people would ask for it.
So there's a transfer. I think if I could look at that piece of paper, I can just show you just where it's just a withdrawal as opposed to a transfer or into a checking or into a savings. So where it's highlighted, withdrawal, see you home, transfer. So it was transferred. And then right up above it, the same date, it says 10/7 withdrawal. So that's where it was just a cash withdrawal.
Is what you're telling me on the 7th of October, you withdrew $5,000 that you didn't give him for weeks. Is that what you're telling me?
I feel like he was off on the date of it. October 7th is the day that we took the $5,000 out. It was a Saturday, which would have been a day where Tony would have been able to drop the boat off to Mike.
Then you have another withdrawal transfer on October 24th.
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah?
Well, I mean, you were asking for where I withdrew the money cash.
What I'm asking you is, you have 2 withdrawals in the same month for $5,000.
The other withdrawal could be, we took a loan out for the boat loan. So, I mean, it could have been just transferring it to savings, to checking.
Not happy.
I'm sorry.
Not happy.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
It just doesn't feel right to me that somebody has a checking account and they transfer money to the checking account, which is what you told me before, that you transfer money from your savings to your checking.
To make it easy for Tony to get it all out at one time, yeah.
Right. And instead of writing a check to this stranger who he doesn't know for a deposit on work for a boat, he takes out $5,000 and gives it to him in cash, according to him, at the end of October. Doesn't make sense to me. Your case without prejudice. You can go back to the local court where you came from and see if you can convince a judge that all of that is accurate. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I had a boat worked on that didn't get worked on.
Yeah, it was blown up, and I did do work on it.
I went to go get it, and just the motor was taken out of it.
And I stored it for a year.
There were parts missing. I had to buy new parts.
And eventually, I pulled the plug on the boat, on the job.
Had a new mechanic put it all back together.
Ready to put it behind me, see where it goes.
It's ready to go on the water.
These 2 people wouldn't be here unless you owe them money.
I don't owe them anything, Your Honor.
A roommate is reminded of his debts.
Jazz gave me $300 for insurance, but that was it.
That's incorrect.
Did you pay your rent every month?
I was short in January.
He only paid in full 1 month.
And they won't let him forget a dime.
He bought a new car right after I helped him.
She says she gave you $200 towards the down payment.
She's lying.
And what about you?
Judge Judy.
You are about... This is Judge Judy.
20-year-olds Judah Primacio and his girlfriend, Jasmine Vallejos, are suing their ex-roommate and Judah's family friend, Zachary Iona, for unpaid rent, a car loan, stolen identity, and ruined credit.
Order. All rise. It's case number 71 on the calendar in the matter of Vallejos Primacio versus Joanna.
Thank you.
Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
This, sir, is your cousin?
Yes.
First cousin?
No, distant.
How distant?
Actually, Honor, he is just a very close family friend, and we've been raised together. We've grown up together.
Okay, so he's a close family friend.
Yes.
This is your girlfriend?
Yes.
And you are 19?
I'm 20.
And you?
20.
And you?
18.
The 3 of you rented an apartment together. It was a 2-bedroom apartment. You signed the lease.
We all did.
It is your claim that the defendant moved out.
Yes.
Yes.
And he moved out owing you money.
Yes, that's correct.
And he moved out to move into the home of his girlfriend.
No, he moved into his parents' home.
His parents' house with the girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who is now pregnant.
As far as I understand, yes.
Is that right? Parents' house.
About a month or 2 afterwards.
Is she still living in your parents' house?
Yes.
You pay your parents rent?
I do.
How much?
I pay $200 for bills.
What about the girlfriend?
She doesn't pay anything.
Why?
She just moved in after she graduated high school.
Well, let me understand this, Mr. Iona. The 3 of you moved in together, and as far as I can see from the papers of all 3 of you, you made a reasonable arrangement that they would pay 2/3 of the rent, because they're 2 people. You would pay 1/3 of the rent. Is that right?
Correct.
And you moved in what month and year?
October of 2018.
And in what month did your girlfriend all but move in?
She never moved in.
I said all but move in. I mean, she did get pregnant in your apartment,
Yes.
not in your parents' apartment, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So in what month and year did she all but move into the apartment?
February 2019.
And that became a source of irritation
That's correct,
among you,
yes.
because now the rent should be split in half, because you have 2 people sharing your room and 2 people sharing a room.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Did you pay your rent every month?
I did, up until I lost my job in January, or December.
Well, so the answer is no. I
No.
didn't pay my rent every month. I had lost my job. So what month didn't you pay?
I was short in January. I was short rent.
Your Honor, he was also short on many other months.
He only paid in full 1 month.
They are wrong, Your Honor.
Just a second. Did you pay them in check or cash?
I always paid cash.
Paid in...
He transferred to my bank account. There was only, I think, 1 or 2 months where he paid in cash.
Did you ever transfer money into her bank account?
I did.
So that was also a method. May I see other months?
Yes.
Mr. Iona, were you short other months?
Just January and February.
January and February?
Correct.
How short were you January and February?
Not too short, a couple $100.
Not a couple hundred. I mean, this is a business.
Yeah.
How much short were you in January and February?
200 in January and 300 in February.
I have the exact rate. Okay.
So far, according to you, that's $500.
Correct.
Then there was a car loan. When was that?
December of 2018.
The same month you lost your job.
Yes, this was all before I lost my job.
How much was the car loan and who made it to you?
The car loan was for $13,000 at...
No, they. Did either of these two people give you money towards a car?
Jazz gave me $300 for insurance, but that was it.
That's incorrect, Your Honor.
Just a second. Jasmine, she gave you $300 for insurance or she paid the insurance?
She paid the first month of insurance.
And that's also incorrect, Your Honor. Okay. Sorry.
When did you pay them back? So far, from you, I have $800. I would like to see proof of when you paid them back the $800.
I have a pay stub from my $900 check in January, and I gave them the money.
Oh, who did you give the $900 to?
I gave $400 of it to Judah and then $100 to Jasmine.
Did he give you $400?
No, Your Honor.
Did he give you $100?
No, everything he gave me was for rent.
Did he give you in February $100?
No.
Towards repayment of any of this? Did he give you $400?
No, Your Honor. But he did give us $100, but we had to use that towards his rent of being short.
So he gave you $100,
Yes.
but it was for what month's rent?
It was for January's rent, and it was going towards February's rent because he was late.
That's only $100. That doesn't stretch out that far. Did he pay you at all in January?
Yes, he paid us $100 for helping him out with the car, and
How did you help him out with the car?
we gave him money, the
How much?
$300.
Well, the $300 was for insurance.
We
Yes.
also gave him $200 for a down payment.
That's incorrect, Your Honor. I have the full down payment in my evidence right here.
Show me. I mean, you're going to say that it was a $200 down payment?
He
or-
bought a new car right after I
Just a
helped
second.
him.
Just a second. Are you going to show me that it says that you put down $200?
I put down $510. They didn't pay anything towards the down payment at all.
I don't know that. She says she gave you $200 towards the down payment.
She's lying.
Feeling that these two people wouldn't be here unless you owe them money.
I don't owe them anything, Your Honor.
Well, so far, I have, even by your own statement, you owe them money. Because so far you owe them $800, according to your own statement, and you paid them back, according to you, $500. He says you never gave him $400.
I did pay them back.
Just a second. Tell me when.
In January, when I got that check, I gave them the money.
No, I asked you a question. You told me you got the paycheck in January. It was $900. I'll show it to you. And you said I gave him $400 and I gave her $100. That's exactly what you said. Well, 4 and 1 are 5. Even my rudimentary math tells me that's 5. According to you, you owe them 8. So according to you, you still owe them $300.
They also have my bed at the apartment, which was listed at...
Who cares? What else?
It was a $400 bed. It's still at the apartment.
I don't care.
I gave it to them as part of rent to pay them back. They have it in there.
I don't care. Did you also continue to pay your car insurance out of her bank account for months?
No, I did not.
You did not?
I did not. She even got a refund from that $300 from Allstate.
That's not what I asked you, whether they gave her back the money. What I asked you was your car insurance, without her permission, continued to be paid out of the same bank account where she paid it the first time?
No, it wasn't.
No?
That is incorrect, Your Honor.
Show me.
Okay, I have it.
It's so easy the money came out every month for the car insurance for, say, 2 months or 3 months. She may have gotten reimbursed because she complained about it when she saw it, but that doesn't mean it wasn't taken out. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Was it taken out?
Yes.
So why can't you just say that? It was taken out. You didn't pay it.
I didn't.
You didn't pay it when it was due. It was taken out of her account.
That wasn't to either of our knowledge. She paid it the first month. That was all that was supposed to be paid. It's her fault for not stopping the subscription, and I told them also that
Your Honor,
they didn't want to keep repaying it.
You have a car.
Yes, I do.
You're supposed to pay the insurance every month?
Yes.
That's what it said on the loan. On the loan, it says you have to pay the insurance every month, right?
Yes.
So you have to write out a check, or it has to come out of your bank account. Do you have a bank account?
Yes.
Because you write checks. You would have to write a check or get a money order to pay for the car. So you know whether or not you paid car insurance for, say, the month of February. If you didn't pay it for February, you either were in breach of your contract with the loan company or somebody else paid it because they didn't cancel your insurance, right?
They did. The insurance got canceled in February. That's why there's no way that they would have kept paying the insurance.
So what you're telling me is after the 1 month of $300 where she did pay that you owe her for, money never came out of her account again for your insurance.
Correct.
Only that I'm not reading all of this. All I want to see from you is someplace circled where the insurance came out more than the 1 month that you acknowledge that you loaned him the money for insurance. Make a circle on the bank statement.
Okay. So this is where it was refunded.
Just make 2 circles wherever the money came out.
That's right here. There's the refund and where it came out on that.
Two months to Allstate. Is that who insures your car?
Yes, or who did insurance my car.
2 months. What happened in January?
I called them and filed identity theft because that was the only way I could get my money back. He doesn't even still have the same car.
You got your money back?
Yeah, the company worked with me, but I still didn't get it back for the down payment.
You have a check for the down payment?
I have another bank statement. And I have showing that he paid $200. Verbally, he said he'd pay $100. Oh, okay.
Shh.
Okay.
What month did you buy your car?
In December, ma'am.
This is January 30th that it was posted. The transaction was January 29th.
Yeah, it was pending.
I don't know if it was pending or not. It said the date it was posted and the date of transaction. The date of the transaction was January. Let me see when you bought your car. Did you get another roommate, by the way?
His brothers moved in with us.
Good. Is he paying rent?
Our parents are covering his rent.
I don't know what this is. Okay, so far, it is your statement that your cousin friend did not give you $400.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, but did give you $100 towards the rent.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $700. We're finished. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It was just mostly because I had people over, friends.
I did. I spoke up about it, but
They didn't like certain friends that I had over, and they wanted to kick them out.
he didn't care, she didn't care. I mean, in the long run, lesson learned.
Seems hit a really steep bump.
I can't even say how much I feel.
I hope to continue trying to talk to them after this.
How angry I am.
Yeah, only time will tell.
You can't always trust family now.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Owens versus Reed, step forward.
Gwendolyn Owens is suing Doretha Reed for the cost to repair her car after Doretha's son crashed his bike into it.
All right, Miss Owens, what is your claim that the defendant's son, who was riding a bike, crashed into your car?
Yes.
Causing damage to your grandson to school? Was the defendant's son on his bicycle going in the same direction that you were?
Yes.
Going to school?
I assume yes.
So he was traveling correctly. He was going with the flow of traffic.
Yes.
And according to what I read here, cars were sort of going around him.
Correct.
Because he was on a bicycle.
Yes.
And the car in front of you went around him successfully.
Yes.
And you went to go around him.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you went back in and you heard something hit your car.
Yes.
Is that what happened?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He was turning. He wasn't going straight. He was trying to turn around. That's how he hit my passenger's back door. Because it's in the police report where he tried to turn around. I guess he was going back in the other direction.
Were you trying to turn around for some reason?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Gwendolyn Owens says 13-year-old Donovan Jemison crashed his bike into her car while she was in the process of passing him on the road.
Now, the car in front of you went around him successfully.
Yes.
And you went to go around him.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you went back in. And you...
Yes, ma'am.
And?
I heard something hit my car. My granddaughter was in the back seat. So I pulled over on the side of the street, and the people behind me stopped. There were two people behind me. I stopped and got out.
Everybody stopped because the bicyclist was on the ground.
Yes. I got out, went to see him, and he walked across the street. The bike was still in the street, and we were concerned about him, so we asked where his parents were. You know, where did he live? He said right across the street. I ran over, knocked on the door to try to get an answer. I didn't get an answer. Went back over. The two witnesses were still there with him, and he tried to call home, and there was still no answer.
His mother took him to the doctor, correct?
Ma'am.
Just to check him out.
Yes, ma'am.
Unfortunately, he was okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So you didn't sue her?
No, ma'am.
No, you didn't sue her for hitting your son?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Miss Owens?
Yes.
I've read these papers, and I, quite frankly, it's sort of incredulous to me that you think he's responsible for this accident.
Well, Your Honor, I also have the police report with the witnesses saying that it was his fault.
Just a second. I don't read witnesses' statements from a police report.
Okay.
You told me that you went around him.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And are there cars coming in the other direction? You see where the...
No, not at that time, no.
No. Is it possible for cars to come in the other direction?
Yes, it's possible, yes.
So it's a two-lane highway?
Yes.
So you had to go over into the other lane in order to pass him?
Yes.
And then you went back?
Yes.
Your problem is to make sure he has enough space.
I did make sure he had enough space.
So
Can I show you?
Yeah, sure, you can show me.
Okay. All right. This is my car here.
I understand where your car is.
All right. I had passed by him, okay? And he was turning. He was trying to turn around. He wasn't going straight. He was trying to turn around. That's how he hit my passenger back door.
He was trying to turn around?
He was trying to turn around, because it's in the police report where he tried to turn around. I guess he was going back in the other direction.
Just a second. Stand up. Tell me your name.
Donovan.
Donovan, were you going to school that day?
Yes.
You were going to school that day?
Yes, ma'am.
Step back. And when you were going to school that day, you go in the same direction as you were going?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you trying to turn around for some reason?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Do you remember what happened with Mrs. Owens' car?
No.
You don't remember?
No, ma'am.
You just remember being on the ground?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you in the car?
Yes.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Gwendolyn Owens says 13-year-old Donovan Jemison crashed his bike into her car while she was in the process of passing him on the road.
Were you trying to turn around for some reason?
No, ma'am.
Do you ever drive your bike to school?
Sometimes.
How often?
Not that often.
Well, prior to this day that this happened, when was the last time you drove your bike to school?
It's been a while, so...
Why were you driving your bike to school that day?
I was in a rush because I was going to be late.
So you were going in the same direction?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember what happened with Mrs. Owens' car?
No.
You don't remember?
No, ma'am.
You just remember being on the ground?
Yes, ma'am.
Were there other cars going around you?
Yes, ma'am.
And did they successfully go around you?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you in the car?
Yes.
Stand up. Is this young man in your class or in your grade?
Oh, no. I'm about to be a senior.
And he?
Oh, no. I just be seeing him walk to school sometimes when she be dropping me off to school.
Okay. But he was going to school that day?
Mm-hmm.
Going in the same direction you were?
Yes.
Okay. You were facing forward, so you didn't see what happened in the rear of you?
Oh, no. But, like, we was going straight. And, like, we was going around like all the other cars was. And then he hit the back door. And then that's when she pulled over.
The back passenger door?
Yes.
Right, which is when you would be going past him. Yeah, Miss Owens, you're lucky Miss Reed didn't sue you, and you're lucky he wasn't injured.
Well, I also have text messages where she said that she would pay for the damages.
Well, if she wants to pay for them, that's fine. If she voluntarily, I would not order her to pay for the damages. You passed a biker. It's your responsibility in a car to make sure you have plenty of clearance with that biker.
I had plenty of clearance.
Well, clearly not.
He turned to turn around to go in the other direction. The police report also has stated that.
Just a second. That's ridiculous. He was going to school, and he was going in the same direction you were going to drop your grandson off at school. So there would be no reason for him to turn around.
Well, for some reason, he did turn around. Because you can even tell by the pictures where my car was hit.
I know where your car was hit. Your car was hit on the back passenger side. It collided with him. And if he was injured, his mother would sue you. I don't see any statements of witnesses here.
It's at the bottom, Brian.
Are you talking about this?
Yes.
This narrative? Sorry, that's not a witness's statement. The policeman wasn't there. This is a synopsis of what somebody told a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was the witness that witnessed it.
I don't know that.
And that's his name at the bottom.
I don't know that was officer's summary is.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
My responsibility is to say, whose fault is it when somebody is on a bike and somebody passes the biker? And I see no logic for this young man trying to turn around when the school was in the same direction you were going in. And it's just as easy for me to assume that you cut in too fast. Well, I don't know that, and he doesn't remember. Your case is dismissed. We're finished. You were lucky his mother didn't sue you.
Excuse me, step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Because they hit my car and they were turning around.
Oh my God, it was very frightening. I thought he was really hurt.
The police knocked on the parents' door trying to get them up to come see about their child.
And I ran downstairs and ran outside to go see if he was okay.
She said that she would make arrangements to pay by May the 20th.
I actually got pushed into saying that she basically bullied me into it.
I'm glad he wasn't hurt, but my car is still damaged.
Share that road.